Whoever got the dope, you control the streets. That first one was like something small, between 1,000 and 3,000 pounds and 50 keys of coke. That was selling for 100,000, no cut. I ended up meeting bigger connects when I got into the music.
Anthony Jeezy Gonzalez is an entrepreneur and former cocaine superstar from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He comes from the same neighborhood as musician Pharrell and rap star Pusha T, who is one half of the Clipse crew, the greatest rap duo in hip-hop history. Anthony and Pusha did regular business together, supplying all of coastal Virginia with cocaine that they had smuggled in from Panama. But in the early 2000s, after the rap took off, Anthony put the drugs down and became the full-time manager for the Clipse crew, touring the world with them as they opened for the biggest acts at the time, like 50 Cent and Jay-Z. But the streets kept calling. And when a chance meeting put him in touch with a Mexican connection, Anthony gave in and started moving cocaine again, this time by the ton. After getting arrested in a huge indictment, Anthony ended up beating a life sentence and coming home after doing 10 years in the feds. He now owns his own trucking franchise and earns a high six-figure salary every year. And he's starting to teach other people how to do it. Check it out. If you're interested in owning your own business with little or no money down, trucking is one of the best ways to do it. You can learn how to do it for free at Anthony's website. Go to nocdltrucking.com. That link will be in the description of the episode. We discuss it more in detail over at the Patreon, patreon.com/theconnectshow. Anthony is one of the most remarkable stories in the history of drugs and hip hop, and he's triumphed and become a millionaire again, but this time the legal way. You are gonna love this one. Tony Jeezy Gonzalez, right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell.
I get the call, little cousins, they getting picked up, wife, mother, everybody. Everybody's getting scooped up. 46 people ready to testify against me, and 20 of them was on the street. Up on top of on the paper, it had 7 sealed indictments. Just so happened it was us, me and my family. I was looking at life because of the drug weight.
How old are you?
I'll be 50 March 27th.
Gotcha.
I'm having a big party in Virginia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't had one in because I used to throw parties out there. That's how I started too,
Right.
That's when I bought the club and all that. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you haven't had a party in when?
The 29th.
Okay, cool.
Of March.
Yeah, I'm having my 40th is next year. And I never do anything for my birthday because it's in the middle of winter. It always sucks. Nobody wants to do anything. But I'm like, yo, I'm renting a house in Mexico. I'm flying all my boys in. Like, we're going to have a birthday for once. Yeah. So yeah, you got to do like that every now and then.
See, I'm still burnt out. Like, I'm scared of the camera. I'm scared to take pictures. Like, I had to grow into all that, and it still makes me nervous. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was because back then it was like, I ain't getting no picture. I ain't doing that. So I don't even have a whole lot of pictures. I got a lot, but not a whole lot. Right. It was the thing. You don't supposed to take no pictures. Like,
right.
Right.
Yeah, even back like the backstage footage when you're with like Pusha and Malice, it's always one guy that has the camera. Everybody else is just working on these flip phones. It's not like everybody has a high quality camera like they do now.
Yeah.
It's a totally different era.
Yeah, it is.
And the era changed very fast.
Yeah.
It changed within the course of 10 years or so, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the reason that you stuck out when you emailed me is because you were like, hey, I used to roll with these guys that you probably know. And the Clipse is interesting. They, for sure, as much rap as I consumed and like middle class, middle American, mostly white people consumed, was this like drug rap, cocaine rap. But I think the Clipse came along and you could tell that these guys had really lived it.
Definitely.
Unlike most rappers that just rap about what they see or they saw other people from the neighborhood doing. Malice and Pusha T really were with the
Definitely.
And they would always reference these cats that came up with, and you were one of those guys.
Yeah.
And I knew their rap so well. I was like, oh, this is Tony. I miss my Tony.
Yeah.
I hope you snitches burn in hell.
Yeah, fact.
So you're from this environment. You're from Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
People forget when they hear Virginia, they think DC or, one of these like fake colonial towns.
Yeah.
They forget that it's grimy and it's drug infested. So tell us about like how growing up was like.
Oh man, growing up was like The Wire, but with cocaine. Because, with heroin, that was a Portsmouth thing.
A what?
So in Virginia, we call it the 7 cities. So you got Portsmouth, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Hampton, Newport News, and Suffolk, which make up the 7 cities.
Right.
Right. So like back then, it was, if you were selling heroin, you already knew, oh, it came from P-Town, it came from Portsmouth, or it came from Norfolk because Norfolk used to do it too. But like Virginia Beach, no, man, you gone forever. If you thought about selling that beige, you thought about selling that beige in Virginia Beach, you gone. So so I grew up around like knowing that all the adults were sniffing cocaine, but it was a thing of that, it was normal, smoking weed, but I used to love sports, so I grew up playing sports like all the other kids.
You're half Puerto Rican?
Yeah, half Puerto Rican.
Dad is the Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Okay. And mom is black?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any elders, family members in the game?
Yeah, my whole family.
Can you tell us about that?
So my aunts all married guys in the service. Puerto Ricans, Panamanians, so it was always Spanish, something going on in the house. And I'm like, okay. So my aunt, she had married a Panamanian. And he kind of was back in the day, you seen Paid in Full.
Oh, of course.
So you know how they had the Audis and so that was him. But he had the velour suits and and then he used to run with guys them like Drew. He was more Americanized, as far as Drew, because he was from here, and he used to be dressed with the Nike suits and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a yin and a yang thing, with them. But yeah, I grew up around it.
Oh, interesting. So they married into kind of like drug trafficking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then I was realizing that my uncle, he was the one, the one from Panama, he was the one who was hitting everybody off in the family. And my mother was actually working for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So he was bringing in coke and giving it to your family for them to.
Yeah.
Were they cooking up now? Is this the 80s or were they all selling powder?
Yeah, it was the 80s, Ronald Reagan, 88.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was born 75.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's like 88.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is crack.
Yeah, but I never saw crack. It was just always coke. And I remember seeing it tied in a red like, kind of like a zip tie, but it was red. And it was like, they used to have it at the end of the bag. And I used to see that, but it's normal. But it was coke then.
Interesting. So unlike New York, where they were selling vials, it was different down in Virginia.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. And I imagine the coke was a lot more expensive too than up in New York.
So like when I came up and I finally got on the corner, like I remember selling 2 for $20. Like we ain't had the vials and stuff. Like I was, like I said, I had a business mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like my brother used to always say, man, I don't understand how we got the same coke, but the fiends always coming to you. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but look, you got the gun on you. You dressed a certain way, like, you scaring them. Right. You know what I mean? I got to make them comfortable, but not only that, I'm cutting it in half. Like if I'm getting in front of the ground, I'm going to come back faster because I'm going to cut it in half and get the deals out so I can finish it faster. As I finish it faster, then I got the person who I'm getting it to like, damn, you swallowing it? So I'm going to give him more.
Yeah.
And the whole time they're like, man, how you doing that?
Right.
So you knew about customer service.
I knew about
even as a little kid.
Even as a little kid. I'm talking about down to selling it or who I wanted to be like. Like I had a cousin. His name was Tyke. He used to ride through the neighborhood, rent a car, smoking, girls in the car, gold chains on. Yeah. That makes you want to deal with that person. My whole thing is he could have some bad drugs, but he making it look so good. I want to deal with him so now I know everybody on the corner is thinking the same thing I think. Because my business mind has always been this since the early age. I always put whatever I'm selling, I put myself in the mind of the consumer. Because not what I like is what I'm like. If I'm selling it, I'm not the one that'll keep buying it. So you got to put your mind
Yeah.
You know, to see what they like.
Think how others think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when people, you know, saw me hop off the corner and now I'm right, everybody wanted to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's all, you know,
Yeah. Marketing.
Always been a marketing.
Marketing. Yeah. How long did it take you? Well, first of all, when did you first go on the corner?
So how I end up on the corner, I had a cousin down the street. So I'm from a street called Southgate, right? In Virginia Beach, right? So people think when they say Virginia Beach, they think of water.
Yeah.
But I stayed like 20 minutes, if that, probably about 10, 15 minutes, if that, from the beach.
Uh-huh.
So now you got neighborhoods them down the beach, Friendship, Atlantis, places like that, right? And all of them was going crazy.
With drugs?
Yeah, going crazy.
Even in the tourist sections, because I've been to Virginia Beach. There's a lot of like tourists from the north that come down every summer, right?
I'm talking about they going so crazy, like the beach is probably like a couple of blocks up, you know, in these neighborhoods. Because people think Virginia Beach, oh, y'all don't got no hoods, y'all don't got no ghetto. They still say that to this day. But they was going there going crazy. So you got to hop on the interstate to drive to get to the next area, which is a spot called Twin Canal, which is like the Green Run area, right? Which is another hood that used to go crazy, right? Now, all this is in the beach, though, Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So as you're driving up more, now you get the Lake Edwards and the Bayside Arms and the South Gates, you know, which was the area I grew up in. So with me playing sports, I was cool with all the guys from down the beach, the Murios, Junks, Boomps, and my mother stayed out Twin Canal, the Green Run area. So I grew up out there with them guys, but I was raised more over here where, you know, guys who still my friends, like all these guys still my friends to this day. But
Right.
So it was kind of like once I hop off the porch and I had it, now I'm dealing with all these guys. So now it's making it seem like, damn, but all them coming, you know, like all them coming to me now because I'm getting out the deals, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But this is before I even thought about expanding.
Right.
But I had a cousin, his name was Tony Cameron, stayed down in the Southgate. We call that Southgate 1. In the middle was Southgate 2. I stayed on Southgate 3 with my grandma because I wanted to go to school out here instead of out Twin Canal, you know, out the Green Run area. So one day my brother, he used to go in my uncle's closet and steal remember when I told you about the red things? So he used to steal them and he used to bring it to me. So I'm like, man, I don't know what to do with this, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up going down to see my cousin, Tony Cameron. Because I knew, like, for us being down there playing football and all that, like, he was like wow, but he was real good in sport, in all kinds of sports he was good in, but he just didn't go to school. Got, you know, so he was down there. I remember when he was saying what he was doing and, I got my first this and that. So I'm like, all right. So I said, well, let me go down here. So I go take it to him. He buys it from me, right? Probably like $60 or something. But you gotta imagine, I'm like 15, junior high, junior high. So he says, so we do it a couple of times.
It's 1 gram.
I didn't know.
Just one bag, right?
No, it was a couple of them. Probably like 2, 3, you know. So when he cook it up, I don't know what it is. Like,
Right.
So he's telling me, oh yeah, you know, I give you this for it, I give you that for it. Probably on like the 3rd or 4th try, I take it down there to him. And he said, man, I got some right now. Man, I can't do nothing with it, but you can, you know, I'll still cook it up for you. Because they had to cook it up. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he says, I cook it up for you, but I can't do nothing with it. So I'm like, man. As I'm leaving, I get stopped by one of the fiends who was going to him. I don't want to say his name, but you know, he's still around. So he tells me, so I tell him, I'm like, hey man, let me holler at you. So he said, yo, what you got? So I tell him, show it to him. He ended up tricking it and swapping whatever he had in his mouth and give me some fake stuff.
Wow.
I go out based on my first sale that I make it's bad stuff. I don't know. So I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like, I just got this cooked up. Like, so they end up even getting it back to me. That's how I'm like, oh yeah, I know it's fake. If a fiend give it back to you, so I take it and I go back to my cousin, like, yo, this what you cook with. He was like, nah, you got. I was like, how? So I explained it to him. He was like, yeah, he take it. He switched it on.
It's his crackhead tricks, bro.
Yeah.
The sleight of hand.
Yeah. So my
sleight
first
of
sale.
tongue.
So my first sale was I got beat.
Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. You've heard me talk about these guys till I'm blue in the face. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about them. I love firing on action every football season, basketball season, March Madness coming up. Baseball is just around the corner. I mean, this is the only place to go if you like firing on sports. And if you're like me, I'm a casual sports fan. I don't have time to keep up with what the line in Vegas is doing. I just like something that a 4-year-old could do. Unlike other sports apps, you're not playing against sharks or experts. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Remember that. All you do is try to guess if this player is going to get more or less on a given statistic that they give you. I mean, literally, you could just press the buttons and up to 1,000x your money. It's that simple. So once again, let me spell it out for you if you're still not picking up what I'm putting down. Do you think LeBron James will get more than 24 points this week? Or Giannis for more than 35 points? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on PrizePicks. That is how easy it is to play. The second half of basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on PrizePicks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. And they make it super easy to get in the game. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account. Check this out. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. What? You get in the game with just $5. That gets you 10 extra money right away. And they're available in 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. It's literally made sports more enjoyable for me. It's brought me back to basketball specifically, a game I grew up playing and watching. It is like the love of my life. Firing on it with PrizePicks has brought me back. Check this out. Download the app today and use code CONNECT, CONNECT, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, download the app and use code CONNECT to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Remember, that money is guaranteed whether you win or not. PrizePicks, run your game.
So you were basically stealing coke from your uncle and selling it to your cousin. That's how you got in the game.
Yep.
And then and you got put on with crack when he cooked it up for you.
Yep.
Okay, so now you're on the corner, not just selling to your family. Now you're hustling to fiends.
Yeah, it ended up coming to that.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
And was it like a corner game? Like, when we think of crack selling.
Yeah, we run in the cars. So the thing, you had to run, like, it was like, it started off who was the fastest to actually get there. So I was the fastest. I was in the sports and stuff, so I get there before 'em. But then it came to the point they was running, because I'm giving out more. So I'm sitting back and my brother, them yo, dude, they ain't running no more. You know what I mean?
Oh, so the cars pull up and all these little crack kids descend on the car trying to sell them.
You gonna hop inside or they gonna, so we had this lady that we used to call her White Lady Honcha. Right? And she used to run across the field. I'm talking about, so we got this field, and when you see her running, she actually got the money in her hand and everything. She used to come spend about $100. So that's like crazy. Mm-hmm. So she's running across the field with the money in her hand. So when you see her, everybody take off and start running towards her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody like, y'all got the deal for it. Wow. So it was the thing of.
That's unbelievable. That's like when you're coming back from Mexico and lying at the border and you got a bunch of kids trying to sell you little trinkets. That's how crack was. That's how crazy it was back in the beginning of the game, huh?
Yeah. But everybody had their time though. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was times that I was out there and I got to run to the car just like everybody else, Right. But everybody got their time to have that.
Take turns.
You know what I'm saying? It ended up coming to that, you know what I mean? Because, that start problems. So it's like, yo, what you doing? But my mind was, I got to get off this corner. I'm not trying to stay on the corner.
Right.
That's what my mind always been.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like tight. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like my Uncle Renee. You know what I mean?
Pulling up with the weight and the fly.
Because I knew it was two different things
Yeah.
that they was actually doing. But by this time, you know, when I started getting up, it was like, and when Uncle Renee started to go down and, you know, end up getting deported, it was more so me actually start hanging with type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
So you had like an adult mindset, even as a 15-year-old. You were like, oh, this is like, I don't want to be down in the muck. I need to be like in the background supplying all these people.
Yeah, but before I started selling crack, I started selling weed first. Because, like I said, my brother, before he started going into my Uncle coat, he used to go in people's houses and steal, you know, weed. He used to find a lot of weed. So now I had this weed, and at the time I wasn't plugged in with the neighborhood kids of Bayside Arm like that. You know, like I got cousins and stuff out there, older cousins and younger cousins, but I wasn't like, because I wasn't on the corner, so I wasn't plugged. So it was a guy who I grew up with. Like me and him ended up meeting in science class, 7th grade science class. Mr. Smiley, he's always say, "Hey, why y'all guys joshing around?" To a point, we start calling him Josh. Right, this is like my right hand man, and he started because he was from out there. Like his whole family and everything is like shady residents, like from out there. He was the one who was my inside to, you know, getting out there, right? So when I told him, hey, I got some smoke, he was just starting to go to school in another area. So I ended up giving him most of the weed to sell. But as I kept a little bit for myself, I had cousins like Fats, you know, Brumman and all them. They smoked weed. I wasn't even smoking. Them are the main guys who was out there, the pigs, like them were the guys who was like the stuff who I looked up to. When I told them I had some weed, they start coming around there to see me. I don't even know what I got. I don't have a scale, I don't got any of that. But I'm just so happy to deal with them.
Yeah.
You know, so I ended up giving them, you know, they ended up beating me for it too. But that was my insight to getting in there.
Okay, so you started off selling stolen coke and stolen weed.
Exactly.
That's how it goes when you're 15. You don't have any plugs. You don't have any money. That's how a lot of people got in the game, was stealing it or robbing it. That's just kind of how it was. You can't get a loan.
No.
So did you know Pharrell? Did you know any of these guys? Did you know Pusha back then? Did you grow up with any of these dudes, or did that come later?
So yeah, that came much later.
As adults?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that came a little farther later because Pharrell was actually high school because I got kicked out of high school. I got kicked out in the 11th grade. I was playing, like I was supposed to start point guard for Bayside High. Ended up getting kicked out because we used to fight another neighborhood called Lake Edwards, right? So, so it was always like, we see each other, it was gonna be gunplay, fighting, or whatever it was. Now I'm from this neighborhood now. Like I'm, you know, from Southgate, it's like walking across the street. You know, even though Southgate used to go crazy, but now from being out Bayside, I'm cool with the guys them playing basketball, some of the guys them from over in the other neighborhood. But once we fight, I gotta fight. You know, so and I'm getting kicked out.
For fighting?
Yeah, I ended up getting spit because that's how big of a, you know, it was all on the news and everything. Like, it was crazy. Because they knew how the rival was between us. And I ended up getting kicked out, but then I ended up going back graduating because my mother wanted me to graduate. But I'm saying that, so Pharrell used to be in the band at Princess Anne High School. And he was always, you know, that guy to be like, have you always looking at him like, yo, you know he's gonna be something special.
Right.
But people at the time would, you know, would say it's weird, but it's like, no, he was just before his time.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And man, it was like, he used to see me out there rolling with the guys and, you know, so with the area where he know I'm from, that right there is a thing of him knowing what I was about, but just.
Right. So he knew you were with the
Yeah.
one of these cats, you know, on the corners and making trouble. And he was like an artist.
Yeah.
And back then in the early 90s, being an artist, especially in a black neighborhood, that was like weird. It's kind of gay or fruity,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But now everybody is that. But you're right. He was totally ahead of his time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I think he started making beats for like Belle Bev DeVoe, right? Like when he was a teenager in high school. Like he
But
popped
back then,
real fast.
I remember it was Noriega, Super Thug.
Made that too, right?
But then before they was like the SWVs and the Mace.
Yeah. No, this is earlier, man. He was making beats by like 1990, 91. He was for like...
Yeah, that was Super Thug, right?
No, that's the late 90s. I'm talking about like 1990. And if I had a producer, he'd be looking this up right now. He made a beat that would have been considered viral. It was for Teddy and Belle Biv DeVoe. Teddy Riley.
Oh,
there we go. Teddy Riley.
Yeah.
That was like his
Rump Shaker.
Yeah, Rump Shaker.
Yeah, that was filmed down Virginia Beach.
Wow.
That was filmed on the ocean front.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, he was like 15 or 16 when he made that beat, but that was like a hit.
Yeah,
you know,
man. To us, he was out of here.
Out of there.
To us, he was out of here.
Yeah. So you get kicked out of high school. Did your mom know you were dabbling in drugs when you were in high school?
No, so like I said, my mom was still out Twin Canal at the time.
Hustling?
No, she was, she had a thing going on out, cause my father, he was a working man. My stepfather, cause my real father had passed. I didn't even know that. I met him one time when I was 12. So my stepfather, which is, I call him my real father, cause he'd been with me since I was 9 months. So he was the working man. He was the man who like checks, girl, but my mom is the one, she gonna flip that. You know what I mean? So she's still out Twin Canal doing that. I'm staying with my grandmother.
Right.
So
your mom didn't know that you were.
So at the time, she didn't know any of that when it was crack. But once it got to me end up selling powder, how I began to sell powder, me end up going to her, and because I remember when Uncle Renee used to deal with her, so I ended up going to her saying, "Mom, this and that." And when I first started, she was like, "Hey, boy, you got to put something on this."
Yeah.
And I'm like, what you mean? She was like, "You giving it away." I'm like, she brought out the isotol, and she showed me the game of you have to put this and this and this and that. I said, "Well, I'll let you do that." You know what I mean? She was like, "Well, you can still lose a lot of money." She was like, "Well, I still want you to put something on it because it's too strong for me." You know what I mean? But during that time, when I took off, because my friend who I told you, who we call Josh, well, that's the one who do the film stuff now. But he ended up, damn, I forgot what I was saying.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't skip over this. Your mom taught you how to cook crack, or she taught you how to stretch powder?
She told me how to scratch the powder and put the isotone on it. And she like, "Yo, listen, you got to understand, I want you," so she said, so my mom was like this, "If you're going to do it, I'm going to make sure you do it right." Because I already know I'm not going to stop you. You know what I mean? Like, the only way to stop me is to call the police on me. She ain't going to do that. So I might well teach you, so she like, "Yo, you're giving this away. If you basically going to give somebody some coke, you need to put baking soda on it.
Right.
If you're going to give them, for the people who snort, you need to put this isotone on it, because that's what she's doing." And when I give it to her, she's still gonna put some on it because it was just too strong.
And this is powder you were getting from Uncle Renee?
This is powder that I end up getting from Panama, from New York.
Okay. Yeah. So, and what kind of quantity were you getting at this time?
At this time, I was getting it was pink.
Pink cocaine?
Pink cocaine.
Is that what they call 2C now?
I don't know, because I don't know what's going on now.
Okay. Well, it's in the news now. It's been in Colombia forever. It's 2C, and it's kind of like pinkish cocaine, but I think it's mixed with like MDMA. Does this sound familiar? Is this the kind of coke you were getting?
Man, see, back then it was, because it was crazy, because when I went to New York to get this coke, and they bring it and putting it on the pool table, like, because this is straight off of the plane from Panama, being in the, like, so like in New York, they got the basement in the bottom, and I remember it was like a pool hall game room up top, but downstairs they got the pool tables and stuff, and they had this coke on there, and the lady, came and gave it to him, and it's on the table, and it's pink.
Wow.
And like that was like my first time when I like seeing my first key, having my first key. Wow.
Yeah, so that's just great coke. Just had a pinkish hue to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the bomb right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and was that arranged through your Uncle Rene?
That was arranged through my Uncle Rene because, I ended up, me and my friend Josh, because at the time, me dealing with my Uncle Rene, he was trying to set me up with different plugs and stuff. So I ended up meeting this guy he had coming in, Panamanian. He was coming in from Florida. And he ended up beating me for like a whole bunch of money. So I was like jive messed up, like, so he was like, man, I got somebody in New York who can, go ahead and get us right. We got some things coming in. So I was like, well, I'm tapped out. You know what I mean? I got a couple of guys who owe me some change, but you know how it is. If you don't got no work at the time, anybody trying to come bring you that money. Because they're like, man, I ain't, get something first. You know what I mean? So I go to my guy, Josh, who I ended up, coming up with. And he had enough for, I think, like 2 things. All right? So we ended up going up there with my uncle. And when we get there, he ended up working it out. We ended up getting the 2, and then up front it's like 3.
So you came back with 5?
With 5.
5 birds?
My first time.
Wow.
First time.
And this is untouched South American blow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what was a key? What were they charging you for a key?
It was like 18, 17, 18.
So in Virginia, you're going to kill them with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how old are you now at this point?
I'm probably about, this is the 90s, the mid 90s probably, I think.
So you're like
late 90s, something like this.
So you're like 20 or something?
Yeah.
You're young.
19, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of coke for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So is that what put you on?
Yeah. That right there, and then like dealing with my Uncle Rene, he used to, like, the lottery had first came out. And he used to play the lottery like crazy. Like, I even got pictures to this day of me holding up the lottery ticket. He used to play day and night. I got turned on to that. My first number I hit was 0825. I played it combo for $1, right? Twice. And I played it exact. I hit for 7,500, I think it was. At that time, too.
And you hit?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was hooked since then. I started hitting for 18,000, 15,000. My uncle used to crack them for like 80,000. Like, it was crazy. Like,
And is this the state lotto or this is the number man?
no, this is the state lot.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, in Virginia when it first came out. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm grinding at the time, and then a whole lot of stuff transpired in between then, and like Josh even went to ended up going to college on the football scholarship, because when he came back, that money that got hit, some of that was his too when he went away. You know what I mean? So now it's like, yo, you know what I mean? I had his, you know what I mean? And I ain't got nothing,
So when you come back with 5 keys, now you're like supplying all of the dealers in the Virginia Beach area.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And the guys who we used to fight, in high school, I ended up going to get them too, and bringing some of the younger ones who was, down under me, my age, and I brought them in the fold.
Yeah.
So my age group, I ended up mending that gap for the fighting stuff to get money.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So yeah.
Wow. So you're the guy. Yeah. When you take a brick for 18,000 from New York, that's pure, and you take it to a place like Virginia, you could triple your money practically.
Today's episode is sponsored by Mando. I used Mando on my ball sack before this podcast. I swear to God, it's a whole body deodorant. You guys know about whole body deodorants by now. You know about Mando. They are the #1 company doing this right now. No more of that crap you get off the shelf filled with toxins and aluminum and all that. use Mando whole body deodorant. You can use them on your grundle, on the bottoms of your feet, put them in your armpits if you're old school, if you think this is the 90s. You can rub it on your face if you want. It works as a cologne. I love Mando. Remember, Mando was started by a doctor who realized BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. That is true. I put deodorant on once every couple of days. I rub on some Mando, no joke, and I'm good for the next couple of days. It's wild. They have an amazing variety of scents: bourbon leather, cloverwoods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. And they have a lot of options. Remember, you can get the traditional roll-on deodorant, or what I like is the spray deodorant or the cream tube deodorant. So it looks like you're almost putting on lotion, but you're rubbing on deodorant, and you can put it in your arms and on your forearms if you want it. You can get weird with it, guys, because it's baking soda free, paraben free, aluminum free, and vegan. So you're not putting on anything toxic. So put it all over your body. I don't know if they got this statistic, but 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor was 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average grundle odor, 0 out of 10. Check this out. Mando is popping off. It started as a little startup company. Now you can get it all over the country. You can get it in big box stores, Walmart, Target, and other retailers. But for the best deal, which I'm about to tell you, go to shopmando.com. Again, that's shopmando.com. And they're going to give you a deal right now if you use my promo code shopmando.com with code Mitchell, Mitchell. You're going to get a starter pack, solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. Okay, that's over 40% off of your starter pack. Again, go to shopmando, shopmando.com. Use code Mitchell, my last name, and please tell them we sent you, okay? Use that promo code, get that money off, boost your confidence head to toe with Mando. Let me take a quick minute to tell you about True Classic. I'm wearing them right now, and it's just a coincidence. I didn't know I was gonna have to do this ad read today. I just wear them. I wear them to podcast, I wear them to the gym, I wear them on dates. Once I started being a spokesperson for True Classic, they've made me into a customer for life. It's quite literally the only type of clothing I wear. They also have pants too, athletic pants that I can wear to the gym. Everything is plain Jane now, you guys. Back in my day when I was a kid, it was all about wearing logos. It was all about Nike and Adidas. Now it's all about the sleek, minimalistic look. I love that. It's great for boring white guys like me. I got a real up body, you guys. I'm 6'6" and I'm 190, 195 pounds. And I cannot find any traditional clothing to fit me. I mean, even with a hoodie, even with a sweatshirt like this, I would buy it. It would look like it would fit, but then it would not hug my waist. It would like flower out the back, you know? And you would just kind of look like a little boy trying to wear clothing that doesn't fit you. With True Classic, it solved all of that. It accentuates the best features that you have. In my case, it's gonna be my face, my chest, my arms. I've been doing push-ups, but like I look swole. It really it just makes you look like a compact, athletic man that you are. And right now it's probably still cold where you're at. They have long sleeve Henleys, fleece hoodies, jeans, button-ups, joggers, and more. And I mentioned that I go to the gym in them. Yes, all of the time. Their t-shirts are moisture wicking, odor fighting, quick drying, and antimicrobial. And now that we're coming up on springtime, they have a spring essential line coming out. They've got short sleeve comfort knit button-ups, comfort knit chino shorts, 6-inch swim trunks, and a lot more cool gear. I can't say enough about them. And remember, they're affordable. You can go online and build the perfect outfit in 5 minutes or less, and everything goes great together. Best-selling t-shirts, hoodies, jeans, and more come in 3, 6, and 9 packs. The more you bundle, the more you save. There's free shipping on all orders and a 100% perfect fit guarantee with easy returns. You have nothing to lose, and in fact, a bunch of money to save when you purchase from them online. You're going to save 2, 3, 4 times your money that you would have to spend for lesser quality clothing at a brick and mortar store. So whether you're still bundling up from the cold or getting ready for spring, level up your style with clothes that actually fit right. Just go to my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/connect to save. Once again, that's trueclassic.com/CONNECT. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today.
Did you ever supply like Pusha? Like how did that all come into play? Like, how did you meet those guys, the Clipse, who later became the rap group, the Clipse?
Yeah, I had met them through a guy named Tony Crumble, who used to hang. Him and Pharrell was real tight. He used to like dance and stuff. He grew up with them, But he was the guy who used to cook my coke.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was the cook. Cause like
Tony.
Yeah, his name was Tony too. So he's the one who knew how to make 1 into 3. And yeah,
You can stretch 1 kilo into 3 and it'll still sell.
and it still sell.
Wow.
So I had 2 cooks actually. It was a guy by the name of Lopez, right? He was Spanish, right? Me and him met in high school. He was from the Lake Elwood area too. That we used to fight. He used to cook it with the water, with the water weight. Hit it, just put a little bit of coke on it, and it's good. Tony used to cook it. He can make whatever stay, but the coke is so good that's coming from New York. Like you can put whatever Pharrell on it, but I was taking 1 into 3. But the thing was, I'm selling ounces for $500.
Killing them. It's the best price.
Yeah.
So is that crack already, or are you selling powder?
No, crack.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't sell nobody no powder.
Right. So because you need to keep that powder's so valuable, you're keeping it for yourself and turning that all into crack. So you could take Tony, you would give him a brick of coke, and he would turn it into 3 kilos of crack.
Yeah.
How much would you pay him to cook? Because that's hard work.
So me not knowing the game, of that, with him being so knowledgeable, I give him like 4.5. You hear me?
1,000 or 4.5 ounces
4.5
out of it.
ounces. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or sometimes, I give him a play on some powder. Be like, yo, let's go ahead and take this. But
Oh, so he's making thousands of dollars off of that.
yeah, like that's all he used to do. But he used to do that for people around town. Like, that was his thing.
That was a hustle. And he was a dancing partner of Pharrell?
No, he wasn't no dancing partner of him. You know what I mean? He just grew up with him.
Okay.
And he ended up trying to, find his niche.
Right.
Into
the drug game.
Not in the drug game, but the music game. So he used to dance. And I remember Pharrell putting him in Ray J video, song Pharrell wrote for Ray J. Oh man,
my producer's on it.
Yeah, and
couldn't have been a very good song.
Yeah, and he
sucks.
And it's crazy because I think he had wrote the song for somebody else, for Michael, and Ray J ended up getting it, I think. But so he was trying to find his niche. But the thing was, Pharrell was trying to push him towards, because you got to understand, all them guys like Pharrell and them, they know about it, and back then because what's going on in the neighborhood, and where they grew up around it, like everybody's into it, everybody in it. So they naive, and they so they definitely know about it, but they push you to get off the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They ain't like, yo, man, this and that. So he's saying, yo, we was trying to find our niche in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with Tony trying to bring me in, it was the thing of him trying to find it. So he's dancing. But Pharrell was trying to tell him, yo, you need to go to dancing school now. You need to do this. You need to do that. But he didn't want to do the ballerina stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
He didn't want to learn. So that right there, he didn't want to go the extra mile to be what Pharrell tried to push him to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because to us, or probably to his peers, everybody's like, man, what you doing, man? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be doing that, knowing that that's the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? A whole lot of people are scared to take chances on certain things.
Yeah. So, and that's why the story of Pusha and Malice, who make up the Clipse, is so unique and exceptional. Kind of like Jay-Z. These guys were pretty much as much in the street as they were in the studio. Most people have to put it down. Like they have to, young Jeezy tells a story about how like T.I. told him, hey, you got to put the drugs away. If you want to make this rap happen, like you got to put this down. And you got to put yourself all into the music. And he did it. Like he sacrificed.
And that's what all us did when I did become their manager. All us vowed to, hey, ain't no doing that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that was the thing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we can't be doing this because we about to do that. That's one thing about them guys. They are very smart, very articulate. Like they know, like, yo, I can't, you know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so it sounds like Tony was your through Pharrell, through this connection to Pharrell, Tony was like your introduction to the music game.
Yeah, and he took me to the studio one day.
Okay.
to actually go meet him.
Okay, and they're making beats and
Yes, Pharrell was making he was making beats and like I say, the guys that was there and they knew of me. Like the only reason I knew of them at the time because of the music on the radio.
right.
You know, and then once I realized who they were from another, like, you know, with Pusha being from another school, it was like a mutual respect thing. You know what I mean? Because because the 757 is an area that everybody knows what everybody's doing. So you know, so if you're messing with this girl or you doing this, it's kind of like everybody know who the main people are.
Yeah.
You know, so
Did you know? And so you met Pusha at the studio with Pharrell, who was there.
Yeah.
Was Malice his brother there too?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Were they known at this time? Because everybody kind of knows each other in this area. Were they known as rappers or as drug dealers?
They was known at the time as being in the street. Yeah.
Okay.
Dealers.
So they weren't known for music yet.
Yeah, well, they had a song out at the time. It was called "I Got Caught Dealing." You know, and that was the song that was playing when Tony first said, "Hey." You know, so I'm listening to it. So he like, yo, I know them. So that's when he made him take me over there.
Yeah.
He like, yo. So that's how.
And did you recognize? You're like, oh, these cats are nice.
I mean, from listening to the radio, I already knew. I was like, yo, they in the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the thing I said. I said, yo, they in the street because like you got to understand, it's a thing of, like you said, when you heard it, you was like, oh man, they know somebody or they doing it or this and that. But you can tell whether you just know somebody or you in the streets.
Or in it. And you could tell from their rap, you're like, oh, these cats are in the drug game.
Yeah. So when I heard them and they was talking about I got caught dealing at the age of 15, I'm like, dang, okay. You know what I mean? So yeah.
But did you recognize their talent in rap right away? Like even from those early songs with Pharrell, where you're like, oh, these dudes got it.
No, because I just was hearing the way they put together coke rap. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm like,
so you didn't see a market for it yet.
nah, I won't think about none of that.
You weren't thinking about none of that.
I won't think about none of that at the time. I mean, I was because I actually took another guy from my neighborhood with me there because I wanted to, chance. I ended up wanted to try to put the neighborhood on. So that was my main mission was to go in there on some, hey, eventually trying to get, because, we used to all rap around it, this and that, but I got to the point of seeing how it works, and I'm like, man, I want to be the CEO, I want to rap. So I went in there with the mind frame of hopefully start a label or something, I always had that, you know what I mean? I want to hide my money, but it wasn't for no fame or this and that. It was, I want to hide my money. Because at this time, I got barbershops and hair salons and clothing stores and all that kind of stuff. So my mind was, my main focus just wasn't even the drugs. You know what I mean? I had, different streams of income.
Right.
So that wasn't it. So when I'm going there, it was more so of I'm trying to see how I can make some money.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah. Okay, so you were already laundering your money like from the jump. Like as soon as you got put on and you were the kilo man, like you were buying businesses.
Yeah.
And music was obviously back then was one of the key ways that street cats were trying to wash their money. Almost every rap label has some dirty money attached to it, right?
Yeah.
How was that first meeting at the studio with them?
Just like I said, it was see, because you got to understand, because Pharrell was there. So once Pharrell saw me, now he's looking like, yo, that same boy from fighting and stuff at the high school games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he already thinking I'm on some rah-rah. Because he don't know from the couple of years that's passed, I transitioned into who I was. You know what I mean? And, because back then I was like, robbing and like I started doing all of that before I actually got on. But once I did something, one of my last like heists, it was a thing of, man, I can't do that no more. You know what I mean? Because I don't, it was a thing of, it's just a feeling of like, I ain't trying to get in no trouble. So I was always, people used to look at it as scary. Oh man, he's scary dude, it's scary. But it was a thing of I just didn't want to get in no trouble.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So He don't know this. All he know is, yeah, he owns something.
That guy's a gangster. Look out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then the neighborhood that I represent, because everybody know about the neighborhood I represent.
Right.
You know, so.
But what did you guys talk about? Like, what was were you trying to meet?
No, so what ended up happening.
What was the point of the meeting?
No, he was just taking me to the studio.
Okay.
He won't take me to meet. He was just like, yo, these my guys who, you know, who he basically grew up with and he know and all that, you know. So like I say, I'm just on some, hey, I'm going there trying to make me some money, but they looking at it like, why you bringing this guy here? You know what I'm saying? But everybody else in the room knew what was going on, but it was an uncomfortable feeling from when Pharrell came and he looking like, yo, man, what y'all got? Because, you know, everybody used to call me, when you used to say my name, you used to say my whole name, you used to say Tony Gonzalez. Oh, man, that's Tony Gonzalez. Oh, that's Tony Gonzalez.
Right.
My real name Anthony Gonzalez, but they, oh, that's Tony Gonzalez.
What was so did you jibe immediately with Pharrell, with Pusha?
So
like, did Real recognize Real?
So, yeah, but that was on, we ended up going to, not this particular day, but I ended up coming back. And, you know, we all got cool and me and Pusha ended up gelling.
Did they know you were the man that had the bricks?
Yeah, because everybody know.
You had the reputation already.
Yeah, but at the time, it wasn't a thing of I had the bricks. It was a thing of two is he got the bricks, but he also business minded. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, everybody got the ear to the street on certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they was dealing with a guy by the name of Shampoo at the time, right? You know, he was he used to go crazy. You know, and Shampoo ended up getting killed. So basically, like when he ended up getting killed, and now I'm around because I end up dealing with Shampoo on certain times when you know, because you gotta understand, by this time, my Uncle Renee ended up getting deported and all that. So my Uncle Renee's not around.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Josh is locked up, and you know what I mean. So I'm pretty much out here by myself. You know, and so we end up getting cool. You know, but that ended up developing to. You know, we'll do this.
So after Shampoo got smoked, it sounds like you started supplying these guys.
That's how basically I ended up selling or dealing with a lot of guys in Norfolk. So before then, I probably go to a club, you know, clubs or something like that in Norfolk, but I wasn't going there. My uncle used to be out like the Yarns Parks and stuff like that, you know, before he got deported. But I wasn't going out there. You know what I mean? I'm a beach boy. Like I ain't, but they was pretty much my inside to a whole nother area.
So it sounds like your market, when your uncle got deported, you just got more clientele.
Yeah.
Wow. So how much weight are you bringing down?
So I'm dealing with this guy. He was Guyanese. I'm dealing with this guy. His name was Starch. Right. And he used to go to a payphone. He used to go to a payphone about the 7-Eleven I live there with. It was crazy. But I used to always see him before I started dealing with him because my cousin Tyke, the one who I told you used to ride past in the vehicle, I'm going to see him. He's dealing with the guy Starch, who I used to see, little old Honda Accord, right? So he told me one day, yo, that's the dude who, you know, that I'm getting work from this and that. So I'm like, introduce him to me. You know what I mean? And I end up talking to him. We end up getting cool. He just ain't like the way I used to flash. Because, like I said, he was Honda Accord, you know, like payphone, like, you know, so but we ended up getting real good. So what he ended up doing, he used to come back with like a trash bag full of 30 keys, right? And I probably at the time, I was probably buying like 10.
Wow. What were we paying?
No, with him, I was paying something crazy like 28.
For a key?
Yes.
Holy.
Yes. But the thing was, it was the best coat in the world.
Wow.
But that's how he knew that it was crazy. So he used to come with the whole 30 and he says, take what you think you can handle. So, you know what I mean?
How many would you take?
I probably take like 20. You know what I mean? Sometimes I take the whole trash bag, but you know what I'm saying? But it was just so high. So
you stopped going, so was that a better plug than going up and getting the good price up in New York?
So I end up eventually, so when I ended up getting a clothing store, you know, and I used to I ended up getting the clothing store from another guy who I used to deal with. So I used to deal with starch, right? But it was so high that I still had to go elsewhere at the time. So it was a guy I'm dealing with named AT, and he used to have different businesses and stuff. Had nail salon, clothing store, this and that. So he wanted to sell me the clothing store because he was like getting out the game or something was going on with him. So he tells me, yo, I'm gonna take you to New York and show you where to go get the clothes from and the whole nine. So he's taking me to Chinatown to bring the clothes back or whatever. So at this time, every time I probably going like once a month. So as I'm going up there doing that, now I'm going to Spanish Harlem and I'm going to get to work because right before my uncle ended up get deported, we end up stopped dealing with the Panamanians, right?
Right.
I remember Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn between Utica and Dean.
Oh yeah, so you're out there in Crown Heights.
Yep, that's where all the Panamanians was at.
Yep.
That's exactly like that's where I was at. So they end up the building ended up getting burnt up or something like that. So we go up there, they like chilled out for a while. So my uncle tell me, he said, listen, y'all hold on to y'all, money and stuff, and we're gonna string them along. Y'all, go ahead and party out here. So I'm like, all right. But we end up wanting to go and check and see what's going on. We go up there, they don't got no work. We end up paying them the money, and now we end up going to Spanish Harlem. That's when I first realized Spanish Harlem. And I didn't want to go. We had the money on us. But my uncle
How much cash did you have?
and we probably had enough for probably about 5 keys. But this is the crazy thing. Josh is like, he ready because he's the one who was bringing it back, right? My uncle was the plug. I'm the one who can get rid of it. Now they want to go in Spanish Harlem and get some work with our money. I'm scared. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I heard all the crazy stories. So my uncle like, do you think I'll let something happen to you? Like, really? And I knew my uncle was like the hardest person in the world to me. You know what I mean? So, so we ended up going. We ended up going on the block. And I remember all the guys hopping out with the calculators and stuff. I do for you, Poppy. I do for you. I do for you. Wow. And they were selling it by the gram. Like it wasn't I want a key. I want to by the gram. So I'm like, you think, so now we supposed to.
Yeah, I want 5,000 grams, Poppy.
Yeah, nah, we ain't doing that. You know what I mean? So I ended up meeting this guy named Roberto. And, we ended up getting cool. And that was our first time dealing with them. So we was going back and forth until, Josh ended up getting knocked. And so now I'm starting to go back with the clothing store, getting the clothes, but I'm only hitting them like once a month. Right. I ain't making it an average thing. So as I'm home, I'm dealing with starch, and I'm dealing with AT, who turned me on to the clothing store.
Right. So you're paying more by just staying in Virginia, but you can get more and it's easier. Exactly. I see what you're saying.
Exactly.
Now, this is fascinating. You have all these legal businesses, like the clothing business. Were you actually making legitimate profit off that, or were you just using it to clean your money up?
So I was trying. I was trying, but the thing is, I'm right by the mall. I'm across the street from the mall, Military Circle, right? So now I got to try to get all my friends and different people to come here. So I'm doing the flyers, got the business cards, and, got to call friends. Yo, I'm here, this and that. But now you got to know, I'm expecting them to buy jeans and clothes and stuff from Chinatown.
Right,
you know what I mean?
It's not good quality.
They already know the lick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're like, yo, like, man, we ain't messing with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it became just a front to say I had it. You know what I mean? Put my mom up there on the thing and, because I called it Gigi. So it had something to do with her, and I just basically gave it to her.
Yeah. So now you're just on millionaire, just moving weight. Are you giving material to Pusha and his guys?
Back then when we first started, before we, called it quits, we was so it was a thing of like, it was a separate team. You know, the guys them who I grew up with and all that. And then it was the guys them who was doing the music. But you have to understand, with that came trying to clean up too. You know what I mean? So that's why it was always like a hush-hush thing. People saying, oh man, they ain't really sold no drugs. Oh, Pusha ain't never did that, this and that. Because it's like, what you expect for y'all to see me or to get caught for you to know about it? You know what I'm saying? Of course. So they kept it.
They're being very quiet about it.
They were being very quiet about it. But they ran it up, definitely.
Yeah. And they were moving keys for you?
They was moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say it. Statute is long gone. Statute is long gone. You could say it. So they're moving keys for you?
Yeah, they was moving. They was moving.
Yeah. And
moving.
were they now wholesale? Like, were most of your customers also wholesale guys that were giving it to street dealers, or were they cooking up?
So most of mine was family. That's why I say it was just family. So it became a point I stopped dealing with everybody, and like you just couldn't deal with me. So you had to deal with them.
Okay, so your people were selling powder.
Yeah.
That's how high up you were. You were just dropping it off to a couple of guys.
Yeah.
And
I
they were all
selling crack. You know what I mean? That was
no, I'm saying the people that you're dumping keys off to.
Yeah.
It sounds like they were also high up enough to be giving powder out wholesale to their people.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, because I'm still like I still have starch, and then I still have that
New York.
in New York. So I got a combination of variety.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because I used to always have the mind of prices, different prices. You know what I mean?
Was there a different quality in the Coke when you went up to New York versus getting it from starch?
Yes, very. Because in New York, they sell it by the gram, but it can be a couple of dollars more for different Coke. So they like, you know how like you got different strains of weed? They had different grades of Coke.
Okay, hold on. But how would you coddle together, if you went up with $100,000, how would you coddle together 5 kilos, 5,000 grams out of just buying grams? One at a time. I don't get it.
What you mean?
How would you put together 5 keys if they only sell 1 gram at a time?
No,
that make sense.
So this is the thing. So we'll probably get like 3, 2, all depending on our method of getting it back. But that's what we had to do. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm by myself, it was a whole different ball game. But it ended up so like in my book, right? I broke it down like this. We going to New York. So my uncle, this how we end up stop messing with New York. I goes and I tell I can't think of his name.
Doesn't matter. Nobody knows him.
So I say, Eddie.
Okay.
So I tell Eddie, I'm like, so my uncle said, yo, Eddie don't know no English. So my uncle speaks Spanish to him, whatever. So my uncle came up with this plan. He said, listen, because he would never front us. They'll only give us what our money allow. That's why we say, man, I ain't gonna get the 5, I ain't gonna get the 4 because of the price. So I'm telling to my uncle, like, I'm gonna get them to front us. So he says, he tell them we want more than what we want because he figuring he'll bring the big man out, right? Because where we used to meet him at, it was like a company with like the phone cards. So, all them in there talking to that.
Yeah.
So that's what we used to meet him at. So like when we getting like the 2 and the 3, this and that, but we tell him, yo, we want more, this and that. But he can't negotiate no price. He probably getting, like a point or two or whatever.
Right.
So he like, nah, this and that. So my uncle tell him one day, yo, we want 5 keys, right? And so he like, yeah. So now he got to go and holler at somebody because he like, yeah, they want 5 keys for the same way you asking that question. Like, who does that, right? But my uncle is tired of doing that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he ended up setting up a meet because the big guy now wanted to see us. We're in the restaurant. So we go to the restaurant. Now I got the guy, remember I told you the guy Drew, who used to be with my uncle back in the day. I got Drew with me and I got my uncle with me. Josh wasn't even there. Josh was locked up. Yeah, Josh was locked up I think, at the time. So as we sitting in the restaurant, the plan was for when they asked, for the money, my uncle go get into saying, hey, I wanted to meet you, this and that. Or we only had enough for like 2 keys on us. And we ordered 5. So my uncle trying to break it down to him. That was he figured he gonna explain to him this and that. As we sitting down, the first thing, you know, my Uncle Rick tried to explain to him, they don't want to talk. They're like, yeah, we're gonna eat first. You know what I mean? All on speaking Spanish, you know what I mean? I'm picking up on a little bit of it. You know, I'm like, all right, cool. By the time he finished eating and my uncle ready to tell him what's going on, I got my cousin outside and I had I think a green Acura at the time. She's in the car, right? Because she was gonna bring it back, right? My uncle tell him, yo, we only got this, that. Now they freaking out. There's another guy who keep coming back and forth, right? When my uncle tell him, yo, I only got half the money, you know, this and that, I want in the front, this and that, man, dude like went off like, yo, how can you do this? Well, that's bad business. And, you know, he didn't care about, you know, the simple fact of that. He said, we lying. But the thing was, they had sent somebody already out to the car already, right? And was trying to, you know, actually set it up, actually took the work, put the work inside the vehicle, right? End up, once they found out we had all the money, somebody ended up coming back, taking whatever out. And we only had enough for a key and a half. They don't do halves. They only do wholes. So we ended up just getting the key with them being mad. So they did give us the key, right? So, but the thing was, the whole time we in here, they still got people out there.
Yeah.
You understand? So, man, we ended up leaving with just the key.
Yeah, Dominicans suck. Anyways, no, I've heard these terrible stories about people trying to cop work from Dominicans. It's all over the place. Like they have to coddle together everything. So it sounds like the main work was coming from your guy in Virginia. What was his name? Starch?
Yeah, Starch.
So how was he able to get such quantity and such good coke? Who was his plug?
Well, you know, fast forward, not to go too fast, when I end up hopping out of the game to go ahead and do the music, I end up passing Starch to my wife's cousin, right? Another guy from the neighborhood. And he started dealing with Starch. By the time I end up hearing about Starch again, he ended up getting hit and set up in Miami by one of his connects or something like that. That was the story that ended up coming out. I ended up seeing him in the federal prison.
Wow.
Yep.
So you ran into him.
Yeah,
so you got set up by his connect?
Yeah, he got set up by his connect.
Wow. Were they Colombians, you think?
I don't know.
Because that's a crazy plug to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He got hit.
Did he ever have?
And it was actually in the newspaper and everything. That you know, what I mean, I was like, wow.
How much time did he have?
He was a good like for him to get caught. That's how he had to get caught because he was so low.
So low.
Yeah.
It's always those guys. The guy that drives the Honda Civic that isn't flashy. He's the one that has the weight.
Yeah. He's they ended up deporting him.
Where is he from? He's Panamanian?
No, he was Guyanese.
Guyanese?
Yeah, that
Guyanese. From Guyana, South America. Yeah. Wow, tiny little country.
Yeah.
But he had the plug. Okay, so he was bringing it in, giving it to you, and you're supplying. Did he have other guys like you in the Virginia area, or were you his main distributor?
You would never know what Starch.
Right, he'd never tell you.
Yeah, you would never know what Starch. But what ended up happening was my uncle finally ended up getting back to Panama, right? So I end up start going to Panama now. So you got to imagine, I'm going to Panama now too, because my uncle's back there.
Okay, how did your uncle get caught?
Okay, so my uncle ended up getting caught. He ended up getting set up. He ended up getting set up down there in Florida, right? Just so happened a policeman Panamanian, he was a police officer, but he was a dirty cop, right? And he's selling work. He's actually selling work. Wow. So my uncle said he got a plug down there in Florida. He always got a plug in Florida. It was like, that's where he was always going down to. If it wasn't New York, he was going to Florida. So he goes down there, actually caught a bus down there and everything. Then he's down there. The police officer ended up putting him on the wrong bus because my uncle went in there so the guy can look out for him. So the guy give my uncle some work and he give him a gun. So it was two bus stations that you can leave out of, right? One of them is the one that nobody goes because you're gonna get hit. The other one, they ain't tripping on. he ended up taking my uncle to the bad one. We ended up finding this out later. He ended up taking my uncle to the bad one. My uncle got caught on that bus, headed back to Virginia.
With how much?
Man, don't give me the line, but I know it probably was about at least 2-3 keys probably at the time. And
How long did he go away for?
so what happened was, now this is me now just coming into my own too, but I'm still
Right.
trying to find,
The solid plug.
yeah.
Right.
So he ended up calling me. I ended up going down there and bonding them out, getting them out. We ended up finding the guy house, the policeman house. Yeah, so my uncle, he traced the steps and the whole nine, and we ended up finding the house. So he goes to the house. He's banging on the door, dude acting like he ain't home, and so he ended up going back. We ended up going back to Virginia, and he got put on probation. Like his first or second time going to see his PO, they grabbed him, and that's when they ended up deporting him. He ended up doing time in Texas.
How long did you?
Yep.
How much time did he do?
He did 5 years and then they deported him.
Okay. So now he's back in Panama, and after this time, after these 5 years, you're now on.
Yeah.
Your business has exploded.
Yeah.
So you go down there and see him. He's in Panama City, right?
Yep. Panama City.
He's from the hood down there, I
Yeah,
believe, right?
yeah,
What is
yeah.
that neighborhood down there in Panama City called?
He's from La Bogota.
La Bogota. Okay.
Out Rio Bajo.
Uh-huh.
Or 4th Street.
Okay.
And that's what you got to say. When you ask him, he'll say all that. 4th Street. But he ended up doing it 5 years, and then they ended up deporting him.
Well, of course, that's what they do. Yeah, it would be dope if you just got caught and they just deported you.
Yep.
But they make you do your time, and then they deport you.
So I ended up going to the first country carnival. So that's how it started.
Right.
Me going to the country carnival, going there to see him, and at the time when he getting back, he still wide open now,
Yeah.
and so when we going out there, I'm like, so he turned me on to different people and stuff, and I ended up finding out, with the craziest numbers. I'm talking about 10,000 for a key of heroin, 2,500 for a key of coke.
Yeah.
Like weed, forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, so they had keys of heroin in Panama too.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coming from Colombia, probably.
Yeah, I was getting it for 10,000 a key.
Okay, so now you're in smack too.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why, that came up, the whole Panama thing, whatever.
That's crazy.
That's how I started going there.
How would you get and you could just kill him. If you can get a kilo of beige heroin back to Virginia, you could sell that for what, like 100,000 wholesale?
So let me tell you. So I was selling for, that's crazy. I was selling for 100,000, no cut, no nothing.
Wow.
10.
No wonder people think I'm a fed. I'm just so precise. I just know numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm so good, bro. Let me get back in the drug. Fuck this podcast.
No,
this episode ain't coming out, bro.
please don't. Please don't.
I'm just
Please.
playing, bro.
No. But yeah. So the thing is, I can't get into the. I'm gonna give one method because it's a method that I came up with.
Okay.
Right? But the other one I can't because I don't know if it's still going on to this day.
You don't want
or
to give
not.
up the route.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's one thing I can't do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't.
Understand.
And
what was your route?
But the thing was, at the time, it was so quick and efficient. You only could send in one package, right? A half a key at a time. You know what I'm saying? So, so I will say that. But I came up with a method, right? It was they used to do liquid. And the same people, because they tell you they got different varieties. Mm-hmm. So they used to do liquid crack. Mm-hmm. So I used to take these jellyfishes. So like the little things that you shake, got the jellyfish, the starfish and stuff, and they got the liquid stuff in the inside.
Yeah, it's like a ornament that you put on like a mantle, and it's it's like a kid's toy. Yeah.
That's how I used to do. I had the Coke in there.
Wow. Into these
Yeah.
little glass balls with liquid?
Yeah. And it wasn't glass. It was like a plastic.
Hard
plastic, like, you know what I'm saying?
How did you come up with that idea?
Me being out there, trying to figure out ways and just trying to figure it out. And that's just how like when I told you, whenever I think about something, I'm selling something or whatever it is, I literally sit back for a while, smoke my weed, and I zone out. And the devil's my method.
Did you have somebody help you?
Yes.
Well, you must have, right?
So once I put them on, I end up putting them on to it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I went to them like on some, hey, if I can do this, you know, and so they end up helping me end up doing it.
Right.
But that was, like I said, that was my method though.
Right. Okay. So how much material could you get back at a time with that method?
Boxes. But the thing is, it all had to weigh the same. That's where people get things, you know, you get caught, you get knocked off. Because if I got, even when it come down to the box, all the ornaments in one side, they got to all weigh the same.
Right. To make it through customs.
Yeah.
Because customs weighs it. Yeah. And if one box of the same goods is off, they're going to say,
unless you got some heavy tape around or something, but you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, right. Okay, so you get back boxes of this liquid. Was it heroin or was it coke?
Yep.
Wow. So how much weight would that come out to?
Each box was like, man, so this is the thing. It wasn't no thing of saying like, oh, we're gonna put a key in here or we're gonna put this in there. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, I think each thing was probably like, each box was like 5,000 pounds.
Of crack?
Yeah.
So that's like 2,200 keys.
2,200? No, we want 2,200. It was probably about good 20, 30 keys.
Oh, I see. The boxes weighed that much, but you get about, after you strained it all out, you get like 20 or 30 bricks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you literally got to cook it all. Like you really got to poke the hole and, you know what I mean? They actually had it right.
Wow. So how long would it take you to drain it? Like when it made it to the States, how long would it take you to get it ready?
So how I ended up doing it was each person had to end up doing their own. I'm not doing that. So each box, like you'll get a box, you'll get a box. So everybody had their own box.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're paying $2,500 for these keys from Panama?
So I'm paying $2,500 for a key of powder.
Yeah. So what are you charging for a kilo of crack?
So I got to cook. So I have to. So I have to. It's more money now once it's coming back over. You know what I mean? Because I'm doing everything over here. You understand what I'm saying?
You're getting it already there.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
It's being scratched and everything. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah.
So you take 1 key of powder, and how many in Panama? What would 1 key of powder stretch to crack wise?
Oh man, I don't know. I was too big.
3 or 4 probably.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what are you selling them after? What are you giving them to your people in Virginia for?
At the time, man, it was so good. It was going for like $1,000 an ounce of crack. So I was selling for that's crazy. I was selling for 100,000, no cut, no nothing.
Yeah.
If you got crack, you know what I mean. It was like you gonna bust it down. Pause.
No, I'm talking about what you're giving it to your people.
Oh
for.
Yeah. So when I'm giving it to my people, they getting it for a straight deal. You know what I'm saying?
Like 20?
Yeah. I probably like 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing I'm getting to work. The same thing I'm getting the key for a powder.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting extra. I get them the same thing.
Right.
See, because like I said, I was always that guy that I want to make sure that the team is right.
Oh yeah.
So I wasn't gonna try to milk the system. So whenever I had something, I'm always gonna put say like $1 on it, which I call $1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I put $1 on it. So if I got 50, I make 50,000. I'm cool.
Right.
I don't need to make $1 trillion off that one package.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But in this case, it was the thing of if I'm getting it for this, I'm gonna make sure I show love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
at the same time, it's your lick, so you deserve to make a little more.
You have to.
Wow.
People don't understand that.
So they were loving you. Your people were loving you.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you get heroin back the same way?
No. So like I said, the heroin came back a different way, but I couldn't.
You can't give up that route?
Yeah, I can't give up that.
But can you answer me this? I assume it's through freight, like the cocaine was, meaning like, I assume you weren't sending it on speedboats or having chicks swallow it. Like, I assume it's through like a commercial method. Can you answer that at least?
Mail.
There you go. That's a commercial method. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. I asked that because I just had a guy on and we were talking about like how Trump can he stop the cartels? Can he stop fentanyl? It's like, no, you can just use FedEx. But anyways, yeah, it's and it's been happening for a long time. So are you spending more and more time down in Panama? Do you get a place down there?
Yeah. So
how do you manage going back and forth?
Back then?
Yeah.
So I used to stay at the casino because they got a casino rate. Like the hood is like down the street basically from the casino.
There always is.
Yeah,
Go to Atlantic City.
Yeah, so I used to stay at the casino because my uncle, his he stayed in the hood at this time.
Right.
You know, mother and you know what I mean, one bedroom, hot is on the what, you know.
You're getting all this money though. Like, don't you upgrade his living a little bit?
So, no, at this time, no, because you gotta understand they are so poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we was this, they're not gonna spend their money on that. They're not spending their money on let me go get a new house. Let me go do this. No, they ain't doing none of that, right? But I had like the guys in them, like my friends, them who are down there.
Mm-hmm.
I used to take them shopping. I used to buy. I'm talking about get haircuts, shopping, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was so poor. It was like every time when I would come, as I'm riding to the hood, everything I bought, I see somebody with it. Somebody might got some fruit or something on their head and they got the same clothes that I bought my man King Kong. I'm like, yo, I bought King Kong that.
Yeah.
But that's how closer, everything is.
Yeah.
And but they was so like, I remember when I first started going, and it's like 8 guys down there because I was going to try to get them to the States, which I'm glad I won't because these are certified killers. These young boys, now it's so crazy because like if I show you pictures of them then and I take you down there and you see them now, you can be like, yo, that's dude, like they so different now. They working and such and such.
Yeah.
But when I first go down there, barely, like no English. The first words King Kong said to me was, kill out, kill out. When you're a juvenile down there and you kill somebody, you coming straight home.
Right.
And they wanted me to bring them to the States. So I was actually working on that.
Wow.
But Father my uncle and Money, he takes care of the whole area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and you when you're making so much money like in places like that, you stay in that area. You know what I mean? It's like they're not thinking about their mind isn't like us. Like my uncle, his mind ain't like us to say, yo, I'm gonna spend this money, give me a new car, I'm gonna get this. They don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Which is a good thing. You know what I mean?
They want to be kings of their
and I want to hold my money. You know what I'm saying? Like I need this. See, they think different. They think generational.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the difference.
Yeah. Smart.
You know what I'm saying?
Smart. But obviously you were thinking that too. So now that you have this, you're working with your uncle and you have this Panama route, you're making crazy money. I assume you're like a 7-figure guy now. You must have been thinking longer term, right? It seems like your brain is like that. Like, did you think, okay, now I gotta make an exit?
So all like I said, all this is before the music.
Right.
So my mind is the same thing as my uncle because I'm learning from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so my mind is to save, put up, get businesses, like so the people don't come pick you up. You know what I mean? I didn't really know about the feds, but you know what I mean? With me watching The Wire and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But it was the thing of I need to say, I don't want nobody to look at me like a drug dealer.
Right.
Like that's one thing I never wanted. Like I don't want you to think, oh man, he gets money from drugs.
Right.
Like that just scare me. Like, man, I just opened up this. Oh yeah, you know he sells drugs. Oh my God.
Right.
No. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't my thing of, you know, because I didn't want fear. You know what I mean? I don't want to fear me. You know, people think drug dealers fear. Like I didn't want any of that. You know what I'm saying? So
how did that lead to the music business then? How did the music business come into play?
Because I ended up meeting bigger connects when I got into the music game.
Bigger than you already had?
Man, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Back then was so much fun when it came to like before the music and the doing it the way you know, just that drive, right? And it was like a still grind because I'm still, even though I had the money and I had like all the cars from the GS when Jay-Z first said, you know, came out with Dead Predators and he had the green like Lex. I had to get that Lex. You know what I mean?
I love that Lex.
From like I said with the Legends to the Acuras to the, you know, BM, like me watching my uncle and them, that's what I did, right?
Right.
And it was just amazing, man. Like,
so how did this lead?
But I still feel like I was a corner boy. You know what I'm saying? Even though I had the money and it wasn't on the corner, I still felt like I was a little boy because my plugs was plugs. And like I said, even with going to the Panamas and stuff like that, it was a thing of getting into music and meeting the plugs that I got, and they was like big boy plugs.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, well, when I say big boy plugs, because that's big boy like in a whole nother country, but from being in the States, you know what I mean? If you can get work to your doorstep, that's what I call big boy plug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
if I got to go get it,
yeah.
now I got to work.
Right.
Now that's a lot of sweat equity. Like you said well before, now I feel like I get paid more because I'm the one going through this, going through that. If it get knocked, I'm out of money.
So you had the kind of connects that were like, how many you need 20? I'll have them there by next week, and they'd be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did these new plugs, how were they involved in the music business?
So how my first one, it was a guy in Texas, Mexican, and he wanted to do a feature. He wanted to do a feature with the guys.
With
music.
But with which guys?
With the Clipse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they came from, this was early on. And I charged them like something crazy. I didn't think they was even going to pay it.
He was a rapper?
Yeah, he was a rapper.
A Mexican rapper?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
His name was something red.
Okay.
Something red or something like that. They probably got the video somewhere. It was so crazy.
Wow.
And we did that video, and the guy who came up, I ended up charging him like, man, I want to say like 50,000 or something crazy like that.
Just for a feature, a Clipse feature on their.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I charged them keys, and I gave the guys the money.
So you charged them in keys, and then you sold it, and then paid out the 50.
I bought, like he basically gave that, and I get,
Holy.
And so he became my plug.
Wow. Does history know that?
No, but
that's crazy.
But in my paperwork, it says because he ended up going through the airport, and he had some money orders, right? That I ended up giving him.
Yeah.
That came from a show, right? We got paid from a show, and because I had an accountant in New York by the name of Burt Padell. Everybody used this accountant. Right, to a point, Biggie put him in a rhyme. I stashed more dough than Burt Padell.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he used to, he was real good at what he do. I forgot what I was talking about.
Okay, so, but it sounds like you're already, when you meet this rapper who's basically a drug dealer trying to break into the rap game, it sounds like you're already working with the Clipse.
Yeah, well, I give this guy the money orders instead of sending the money orders to the office in New York, right, to their office. And so I take the money orders. This is me being lazy. Like, that was me just really being lazy. And I had my wife go to, I think her name was on it or something, where the actual money orders that came from the show, I end up giving it to
the guys.
The guy.
Okay.
No, not the guys, but the plug, right? And he goes and get caught with that in the airport.
Oh.
And that's what happened. That was my paperwork.
And is that how they built the case on you? Or
that was one of the ones who was involved, because he had something else going on that I didn't know about, and he ended up getting knocked off or whatever. And that's when he ended up telling, which if it's in there, he ended up saying.
Okay, let's back up though. How did you? I want to know how you started getting down with the Clipse. Like, you've already met these guys. You're bringing in work from Panama. How did you become? How long did that take before you became their manager? Before you saw, how did that all form?
So, just like I said, with dealing with Pretty Tony, right? They called him Pretty. So when he took me there, then like I said, eventually Shampoo ended up dying. Then I ended up starting to deal with him then. Okay,
got it. So it obviously they're already picking up material from you. They're already picking up work in the street. How did that? At what point and what year did you say, okay, I want to manage you guys?
So it ended up becoming the thing of
Lord Willing dropped in 2003. That was where they blew.
Yeah.
So what year did you get down with them and start managing them?
So their first album was The Funeral that came out, right? I think Electra. So when they end up getting out that deal, they were searching for another deal.
Okay.
And I guess the thing I believe that's when they put out the I Got Caught Dealing record that I had heard.
Right.
So at this point, when they still running for their deal, and everybody, they running for their deal, I'm not even thought of about being their manager, right? I'm just on the scene of we're in the streets, you know what I'm saying, whatever's gonna be. So when certain people is coming to do a song or something like with Pharrell, everybody who comes and they want whatever they want, weed or whatever this and that.
Yeah.
I basically got somebody who got the weed and the whole nine. You know what I mean? So now I'm being that guy.
Right. You're kind of being like the fixer for these artists. Yeah. You're getting them what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Pusha be like, yo, call me, hey, such and such coming, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And then it became a point, me and Pusha got so tight that he was basically, remember I told you, like it had to be a secret thing. Right. So I remember times when I was hot, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out who should I get what. And you know what I mean? He'll be that one to be like, yo, we need to do this. We need to do that. You know what I'm saying? And hold on, because you got to understand, we're dealing with Panama. That first album, me and him ended up going to Panama together. So, so
he talks about that in his rap.
Yeah. So he ended up going out there, meeting my Uncle Renee.
And getting involved?
I mean, he ended up meeting my Uncle Renee. So when he ended up meeting him.
Was they getting involved? But was he moving material back?
I never say that. I don't know what it is, but I introduced him to my Uncle Renee.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? So now the thing of him knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? He
knew the whole operation. Wow.
He's in.
So you guys were tight.
Yeah. Okay. So, but it was the thing, like I said, it was the thing of a secret.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, he was one of the smartest ones to be like, yo, I don't want that, but I got to, you know what I mean? I got to put it in my route, so that's how I make my money. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really want them people to know, you know what I'm saying? So
it was almost like you guys were business partners before you became their manager.
It was.
Wow.
It was.
So you guys both had your own money from the street, but obviously they wanted this rap. You didn't really have ambitions to go legit, but you just thought, okay, I can become their manager and wash the money. Was it just another
like I said,
money washing mechanism?
Like I said, I didn't want to, but I guess it was a thing of being in Virginia and, whoever got the dope got the streets. You understand what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Whoever got the work.
Yeah.
Whoever name is ringing that got the work, you control the streets. You know what I'm saying? So now and like I said, even with him being who he is and people, and people don't know that he got access to whatever and he's doing whatever it is, they know me, right? And then on top of that, like I say, from the places where I'm from, in Virginia, the 757, like all them areas that I actually named, I like basically grew up with all the main guys that I still basically talk to till this day that's like growing out the streets and the whole nine. So you can imagine from the relationship that I had. And if you talk about Virginia Beach, that's my name. You know what I mean? So now it's a thing of, dang, if he got the streets, it comes with the rapping thing and it comes with, you know what I mean? Now we can tell a story with it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Okay. So then what year did you become their manager?
So I ended up becoming their manager because, Dan ended up coming to me and I think it was a thing of trust, like, yo, he got his own money, he don't know nothing, but at the same time, he can grow, right? And figure it out. But you really going to have to do this or you will get fired. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we just can't take a chance. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a chance, but,
Yeah.
So they ended up hooking me up with a guy by the name of Mike Odom. Mike Odom was Rob Walker, which was Pharrell's manager, right?
Right.
Mike Odom worked for Rob Walker. He was an assistant. So they ended up putting me and Mike together so Mike can kind of show me.
Right.
eventually Pharrell came and said that they had to pick one because we was both learning. You know what I mean? And I was and at the time I was trying to, I was trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Because these guys trusted in me to, for whatever reason it is, you know what I'm saying, to bring money in.
Right. What is the function of a music manager? Like what was your role for them?
So my role was at the time was which I took it upon myself. You know what I'm saying, to book the shows. Right? That was one of my things. So I ended up going early on to with being in New York, going to Arista. It was Arista first. And going outside, mingling, meeting people, going to like networking. I ended up meeting this guy by the name of Peter Sykes from American Talent Agency.
Okay.
Jewish guy. Me and him got real cool, right? First guy that came to me and said, I want to give you a deal on being your booking agent.
Right.
I want to give you X amount of dollars for a certain amount of shows, this and that. I ain't really understand it too much, but I'm like, damn, so you're going to give me this and that? So I go run it past the guys. I'm like, yo, I got this guy opportunity. And we end up taking that deal. So he ended up giving us some money for some, for some shows.
Right.
And I learned a lot from Peter. He used to say this thing, man, I'm going to teach you how to Jew ball. You know what I mean?
Love that.
You ain't gonna spend too much money. You can go out here and we can have immaculate time. And you ain't gonna spend no money. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like Peter was my guy. So he taught me a lot of the game of how to do shows and promotions and all that stuff like that.
Right.
So I ended up putting that into my bag, and I started because I was sole provider management. I ended up starting sole provider entertainment. So then I started doing and I eventually started doing the tours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then we had a road manager, but that was still my thing of going on the road and all that with him, so I can network and meet people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like putting everything together, making sure both of them comfortable.
Right.
Trying to broker deals. I ended up going to so when he ended up they ended up firing Mike, right? And they kept me. Grinding had just hit.
Okay.
Right? We ended up getting on the Winnebago, going the whole East Coast.
Wow.
Promoting it. I remember Sight for Sound was the first person to come, and he ended up playing it for on Hot 97.
Wow.
Flex wasn't, I think he was subbing in or something, so he ended up playing it.
And that was when Hot 97 was like the access point. They were the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was big.
But before that hit right there, it was a thing of we had a record that really wasn't moving and we needed to do certain things. So when they fired Mike, they said they wanted me to go find somebody to help out. And the different people, they ended up kicking names and it became Chris Lighty. So I ended up going to Chris Lighty, the Violator, and saying, hey, would you partner up? This and that.
Right.
Because I look at it like, using my mind again, I was getting 20% of everything, right? But if I'm getting 20% of nothing, so I give somebody 10%, so I can have 10% of something.
Right.
So.
And Chris Lighty, for people that don't know, Violator Records, he was like a real influential, independent record mogul, record producer back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So Grinding, it was their breakout hit. I heard about, everybody, when the video dropped, it was like a nationwide sensation. I mean, we were bumping it in Portland, Oregon, you know what I mean? So was Chris Lighty, was he responsible for making that record go as big as it did?
So it ended up hitting. It ended up hitting before I end up actually really getting with Chris.
Okay.
Right. But the thing was, right before we got with Chris, I did a couple of deals. I did, it was a thing of, remember Dub Magazine? So I had Dub Magazine and I was cool with the guy over there, Jeremy Lynn, I think it was. So I was cool with him. Then I was, I ended up getting cool with this clothing company that was called Indigo Red or something like that. I ain't really like the name. They wanted to do some business. I told them, no, if y'all ever change the name or, or whatever. So they had a parent line called Lot 29. And at the time I was like wearing a lot of Iceberg and stuff. So it was like a knockoff kind of version of Iceberg. So I ended up putting a deal together with Dub Magazine. They gave us all rims for our cars, and they had us on the cover with the Lot 29. Yeah,
Gotcha.
You know, I charged them a bunch of money and stuff, but I
Yeah.
eventually end up using them, you know, to get money from them for help with album and stuff like that for promotions and stuff.
Right. Okay.
You know what
Got
I'm
it.
saying?
Okay. So you're basically managing their whole careers. You're helping with the tours. You're getting them promotion, getting them sponsorships, brand deals, like that. And then 2003, the album comes out. It's a f***ing sensation, right? And at the same time, you're still bringing in work.
So when we made that pact, once we signed that deal, it was a pact that we wasn't going to touch nothing no more.
Okay.
Nobody touching anything. Leave it alone.
And did you think that was it? You're like, wow, I'm finally out of the dope game.
Yeah, I mean, I got my first check. They were so fair though. We got a publisher check, I remember, and it was for $500,000, right? Pharrell took $500,000. The guy took $500,000 for the publisher, and they ended up getting Mike his cut, letting him get that, and they fired him.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting what I think was like $50,000, something like that. And I had that, and then I got another check for something else for like $150,000. So now I'm saying this, and I ain't have to
Risk
call the
your
plug.
life.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm loving it. You know what I'm saying?
And you must have had money saved and put aside from the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good.
But now, as soon as I got that check, now it's like, okay, I can go, because I was, like I said, I was getting all the. I always had every like vehicles, like I said, from the Cadillac trucks, like all that stuff. But now, once I get that, now I'm like, oh, I can show something now. So I went straight and got the this when the 745 first came out. I went straight and got the 745. When I got the big house, the baby mansion, you know what I mean, a Riverwalk. I'm showing the money.
You've never spent any money.
No,
now you can finally spend some money.
No, I spent money because you know what I mean. But now I can show it. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But now I can show it though.
Right. Of course.
I can literally go and say,
we can buy an asset.
Yeah.
Or a
even though
commodity.
Even though the money I just got, you know, if you had the credit and all that stuff, you can do it. But you know what I mean? I'm showing more than what I actually did receive. You know what I'm saying? And So.
Okay, so it's an exciting time. How long are you able to stay out of the game for? And just be a music manager.
So Irvin was the guy in Texas. He was going out right when the music thing started happening.
Your Texas plug you talked about.
Yeah.
The guy that got on the song and paid you in kilos.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's gone by this time.
Got it.
After we did, like, I'm talking about vans, like he'll actually have a bus, right? Because he had buses come with like a whole bunch of like Asian people on it, Mexicans on it. Like, and they driving, like, I don't know where they're going on or nothing, but they'll stop on the side of the road and I send somebody and I used to get to work from him.
And that's how they got it across the border, or got it to you.
And that's how they got it to me. You know.
Wow.
And he used to do the trucks and stuff and come to the truck stop and do all that. You know, like, but his main thing was like a lot of weed. His thing was like weed. And you know, like I said, he also had the coke too, but it was more so weed.
Right. But now he's out of the picture.
He's out of
when
the
the
picture.
music thing's going.
Music thing going. Everything's, you know, going crazy, but I'm not in the hood, but you know, my family is still my family. So my family's still rocking. Everybody, I got little cousins. I got everybody still rocking and rolling.
Yep.
And I'm on tour. We're on tour. What Chris Lighty did do, which bought, because at the time he was managing 50 Cent and Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott. He managing all them guys. And 50 was on a tour. So he put us on tour with 50 Cent. I haven't got footage of that. Wow. You know what I mean?
So you were opening for 50 Cent.
Yeah, we opened for
the guys
50
was.
Cent.
Yeah.
And we went to Europe and was opening for Jay in Europe the year that Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, because he was a Tampa Bay fan.
Jay-Z?
Yes, he was a Tampa Bay fan. And I remember us going to do that. And I ended up getting him a bottle of Cristal too, because he put us, where the guys was like, yo, let's get him a bottle. This and that.
Yeah.
So they sent me to get some bottles for him.
Yeah.
And I went and got 2 bottles. Actually, the hotel was staying there and had them.
Okay.
And it's so crazy. This is before I'm even realizing all of that was going, like me sitting back looking at everything was going on now. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Like I was really in London. I think it was London with Jay-Z, his whole crew watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See when Tampa Bay won it.
Wild time of your life.
Time of my life. Fast forward, we end up going to that. The guys end up getting into a record label beef with Jive and Arista went to Jive and all that.
Right.
So I'm still grinding, trying to find shows and stuff. Right. So this is how I end up meeting my plug. This is so crazy that I got knocked off for. Pharrell comes and say, no, Pusha comes in. He said, listen, we don't got no songs out. We don't got anything. No, we don't got nothing at the time, right? And but what I used to do, every state that we went in, I got with the DJs, right? Because I learned from is a guy by the name of J1s, right? He's actually with like Sexy Red, I think, right now. But he deal with the Moneybagg Yo's. He go all the way back to Tribe Called Quest. Like when he used to move the record pool, right? So I had all them on tour, right? So so Pharrell comes and he says, listen, Black Eyed Peas is doing a tour. That's what he tell Pusha. Pusha comes to me and says, yo, we need to get on this tour. I'm like, all right, we don't got no music, we don't got nothing. You know what I mean?
Is this before Hell Hath No Fury?
This is...
Which is their second album?
Whatever year the Sprite Liquid Mix tour with the Black Eyed Peas, they was leading it, but I want to say it was right before
Hell Hath No Fury? Because they were doing a bunch of mixtapes after Lord Willin' with the Re-Up Gang and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they were street guys, but they were really, really doing like great hood music, but they didn't have a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
Like they hit really hard, but you're right, they didn't have they needed another mainstream kind of bump.
Yeah.
So this is this time. Okay.
And
so like 2007,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
2006, 2007, I think. Okay.
So I tells, yeah, exactly. so I tells my man J1, I say, listen, what we got to do is, I said, but this is why he's so good too. Like I said, still to this day, he's still relevant to this day. I told him, I said, listen, we got to get the Clipse on this tour.
Right.
I talked to Black Eyed Peas and they say, yo, we can give you $250 probably on this day. This day you might do it for free, but we can have some food for y'all, you know, per diem, this and that. And it's like 30 dates, something like crazy. So I'm like, well, how the hell do we supposed to do this?
$250?
Yeah. We won't make it. We ain't had no song out. We
Right.
couldn't, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
You had nothing to sell.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I tells Jay, I said, Jay, I need you. Because every time when we went to these different states and stuff, when I used to do these shows and stuff, I used to get with the DJ, right? Through J1s. And that's how I used to get my smoke.
Right.
But I didn't want to buy it from them. I tell them, you go take me to who got it. I want to go to the hood. So now as I'm going to go get my smoke, I'm getting with them guys. I'm like, yo, y'all come to the show, this and that. That's how I'm getting guys them to hold us down.
Wow. That's how you're getting people out to the shows too.
Yeah, and
Wow.
yeah. So now I'm actually dealing with these guys
Right.
too. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I end up calling each one of them. Hey, listen, man, we ready to do a show with the Black Eyed Peas out there. Oh, I ain't heard nothing about it. I know. Get a club. We're gonna do a show. We're gonna do a Clipse after party for that show, right? Give me $2,500, and I need hotel rooms. I need $2,500. If you don't got the money and all, we'll go half. Give me $1,250, we'll go half, and we'll split the money out the door. The Clipse will come there. We can go ahead and do a song or two.
Yeah.
But they're still hot enough for that.
Right. For the smaller clubs,
Yeah.
small rooms. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm getting money from each state that I'm going because
Right.
I remember the guys who I had dealt with.
Right.
Then I goes to Lot 29 because I did deal with them, you know. So I said, listen, we're going on this tour. I need you to wrap one side of the bus, but I need the bus. I need y'all to pay for the bus. Had them pay for the bus. End up calling another clothing line to get on the other side. They end up paying for the bus. So that money right there goes in our pocket.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So now I'm in a whole tour and we probably made like 250,000.
Wow. Just doing those little clubs around the country.
Just doing them little clubs, got paid for the hotel room.
Yeah.
The money I got from Lot 29, got the bus paid for, we ain't spend no money.
God, you're great.
That was my hustle.
That's excellent. You're just a great business mind.
That's
killer.
That's what I brought to the table.
Right.
But now we're on this tour. Now remind you, all my family and all them and my guys from my neighborhood and all them.
Right.
You know, we got guys been coming on tour and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys still on the street. You
Drug
know,
dealers.
this and that.
Yeah.
They finding plugs and doing stuff and going back to Virginia. I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
End up meeting this guy. One of my codees, family member, come to me. He said, "Yo, dude out here talking about XYZ." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Man, I got nothing to do with that." So he said, "Man, listen, dude got it, and at the time it's a drought." Now, remind you, I never went through a drought. I never been through a drought coming up in the whole nine.
Right.
Because I was always going to get it. You know what I mean? Like when people say, "Oh, it's a drought, it's a drought." Yeah, because y'all sitting waiting for it to be at your doorstep.
Yeah.
I was going to get it, so I never had no drought. I tell him, I said, I'll holler at dude, see what he's talking about. So me and the guy start kicking it. He got a tour bus. He got a tour bus out there. He's not with us at all. Got nothing to do with us. But he got a tour bus. Everybody else on the tour, whoever, they got buses and stuff, and this guy got a tour bus. So I'm going to talk to the guy. He like talking about work and all. I'm like, but the whole thing is, he like, you have to sanction it. I got to get an okay for him to deal with
Your cousin.
with
Okay.
all them, because if something happened, I got to pay for it. So that's all he want.
Interesting. Okay, so what state who is this? Who's the plug with the tour bus?
So
where was it?
So this guy, I don't remember what state we was in, but I'm just gonna say his name was Low. You know what I'm saying, Low. And me and him got cool.
Black guy?
Black guy.
Okay.
Right. So the guy Low, right? He ended up coming and making a proposition, but I told him, I said, "Listen, you only got to talk to me about it. You can talk to them, and I cover it, because I already know they get money. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna mess nothing up because they want the plug.
Right.
We didn't, that running off on the plug stuff, I don't understand it. Like, listen, run off on the plug, no, we won't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, so the thing was, I vouched for it. So he started hitting them off, but he was cowboying it from Atlanta to Virginia. What I mean by cowboy, you know what I mean?
Driving it up, driving the work up himself.
Yeah, he had no stash box, no nothing. Just straight
Put it in the
raw
trunk.
dog. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So he driving it from there to there. Me and him end up getting cool though. So I end up I'm going to Atlanta like every single like weekend, and I'm staying. You know, because like I said, the music stuff is
Right.
you know still, but I'm in Atlanta. He ended up getting a crib. Right, he's taking me to the airport one day. He said he gonna stop by this place. He go stop at this place. He got an elevator in the crib and everything.
Wow.
But he also got a crib with his wife and his kids. So he's telling me he's looking at this place, and he says, "Yo, you can get the downstairs if you want." So I'm like, "Damn right, bet." So now I got the downstairs, got the elevator in it. He on the bottom. I'm on the bottom. He's on the second. There's the kitchen. So me and him cool, right? And end up what happening was, now he comes. Now my money is like funny because I ain't doing no work. We ain't getting no gigs. I got bread, but as my bill's like 20,000 a month.
Right.
So I'm looking at my money gonna be gone in a matter of
A year or so.
So I said, I'm trying to figure something out. Position hits myself. He said, "Yo, man, I'm about to head out of the country, right?" I'm like, "All right." So he like, "I got 20 keys." Right? He said, I said, "All right, well, you taking it to the boys then?" Because I'm still like at the point, I don't need to talk about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm knowing how it worked, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't need to talk about none of that. Deal with them. He said, "Yeah, I told them they give me half of the money for the keys, and I'm gonna lay it on them, right? But if you but everybody acting like they ain't want to come with the money, right?" So he said, so I said, "So listen, give it to me. I pay for the 10, right? I pay for the 10." So he gave me the 20. So now I go to the crew. So I said, yo, it's mine, right? All I want is $1,000 per thing. You know what I mean? So we ended up doing that. Fast forward, a couple months later, I don't hear from the guy low nothing. Don't know nothing. Like, it's like he just disappeared. Right? I got the bread for the other 10, but I ain't thinking nothing of it. And we ended up having a show in Club Bed in New York. So I get a call to go out there and do the show. And because I'm still booking shows at the time. You know what I mean? Trying to get what we can get. So we had like a little show. So I said, we all go up there. Now I'm in the club. A little black guy come up to me, New Yorker. Yo, are you Jeezy? I'm like, yeah. So he like, are you the Clipse manager? I'm like, yeah, what's up? So he was like, the Pipe wants you to call him. I said, Pipe want me to call him? Who is Pipe? So he was like, well, just give him a call. Give him a call tomorrow, XYZ, this and that. So I said, all right, cool. Next day, we go do Clinton Sparks. I remember we go do Clinton Sparks radio show. And we out there, the day in there. So I picked the phone up and I called the guy Pipe. So I'm like, yo, what's up? And he like, yo, you owe some money. I'm like, oh, some money for what? He said, for 20 keys. I said, who is we? And he said, man, I'm down here in Phoenix, right? You got 20 keys that belong to us that you end up getting from Low. And I said, man, I ain't seen Low. I said, yeah. I said, but I only own for 10. I don't own for the whole 20. You know, he was like, well, I mean, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, but, you know, need some explaining that you need to come down here. That's when I said, well, where's here? He said, Phoenix. So I said, all right, cool. I go grab one of my partners up. They end up, did they fly me? I flew myself, but then getting a hotel room and all that in Phoenix. I'm talking about, it was like set up like straight. I get down there, we go to a restaurant. I meet the dude, Pipe, and the guy Johnny.
Who are these guys? They're Low's plug, but are these black guys or Mexican guys?
They're Mexican.
Okay, it's Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so we're sitting there, and just so happened, the guy Johnny, he said, I like your group music, right? And I was like, oh wow, all right, you know, this and that. So he like, yeah. He said, so you want to work? So I'm like, want to work? I'm like, nah, because at the time I don't want to work. You know what I mean? I wanted to give them their money, and it, you know, it actually be done. You know what I mean? I was cool with making the 50. I figure out the other stuff in my life, but I don't know, for some reason I just didn't really want to be dragged back in with that, especially y'all calling me, finding me, and like, so I'm like, nah, you know. But this is the crazy thing, because when I first get the call, to go back a little bit, when I first get the call, I'm around the guys, and when they say something about it, I'm like, no, I don't owe nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because I got the call before I got to New York. That would make me even be like, you know, like on my P's, that the Clipse manager owed some Mexicans for some keys.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing before I get to the place. And they all looking at me like, dude, you really?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
You're supposed to be out of the game.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be out of the game. You know what I mean? So when we get there and, so I'm in there talking to the guy Pipe, I end up going out to Phoenix. Sitting down, Johnny tell me, you want to work? So I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because I can't say no. I just feel like I just can't say no. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, no. This is what I said. I said, I don't got nobody to sell it to. He said, well, what happened to the people who sold all the other work? You know what I mean? I was like, well, that's my cousins and, all them. And he was like, well, all right, well, it's going to go through, this and that. And I said, well, I got that money because whatever dude said, he's like, we'll worry about that later. He don't care nothing about the old money. You know what I'm saying? No. So he says, he was gonna do. It was 60. It was 60 for the heroin. It was 16 for the coke, and it was 250 for the smoke.
What do you mean? So it was
Okay.
16,000 for a key of Coke.
Yeah.
You say something about heroin?
Heroin was 60,000.
60,000 for a key of, and is this beige or is it Mexican heroin?
Mexican heroin.
So darker, more
Darker, yeah.
yeah, tar.
Yeah, because like I say, I still never touched it. I always take that and just
Yeah,
you
you
know
didn't
what I mean?
even, you just dish it off.
Because I grew up with the mindset of we don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
You dish.
Yeah,
And
you
just
know
put
what I
a point on it.
But we don't mess with heroin, so I just I
right.
don't really want to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because that's like scary business to me.
Right.
But they had it. You know what I mean?
Right. And then the weed was
250.
250 for a pound.
250
Yeah.
a pound.
Okay.
So so I'm like, all right, cool, you know, XYZ. So he like, all right, so we'll basically be hollering at you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, this and that. I go back to the hotel, all right, cool. About Christmas time, come up. And I get a call. Telling me, open the garage.
Where are you? Are you in Atlanta or Virginia?
I'm in Virginia. Because with the Atlanta thing, once dude had left, I never saw dude no more.
Right. So you just left the
like,
crib.
I never saw Low no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving the crib and all that. I mean, that was just that. So I'm thinking he dead. Like literally, I'm thinking he did. I mean,
Yeah.
well, where is he? So I get a call. So he says, open the garage. Right? I go open my garage, and they got a white van out there. So he tell me, mira. So I go, he open the back up. I'm looking down, it's crates. Right? And end up putting them into my garage, you know, so you know, so I tell him, hold on, I'm going to get the money, the other money that I owe.
You owe, right.
But I want to make sure I give that.
Yeah. Squared.
Square. You know what I mean? He tell me, no, or call pipe. I call pipe. I'm like, yeah. You know, he like, you remember the prices? I'm like, yeah. He like, I'll be there soon. Merry Christmas. That's how I remember it was Christmas.
Wow.
I never told him where I stayed.
Crazy. It goes that deep. You don't believe it until you see it.
Yeah, I never
Until it
told him where I
happens to you.
stayed.
That's
Right.
nuts.
So I opened up that first crate, and there's a barrel of weed, right? And in the first one, it wasn't. I think probably like the second one, when I opened it up, it got the keys in there with the weed wrapped up. You know what I mean? It would probably end up with like, the honest truth, it was like, that first one was like something small. Like, I want to say like between 1,000 and 3,000 pounds and 50 keys of coke.
And that's just a test run.
Yeah. Wow. Now I'm getting it. I ain't worried about the music. Ain't that about no music?
16 a brick.
Man, I went to Miami, bought me a Bentley. I had the S550 in Chesapeake. Listen, I had the S550 in Chesapeake, right? My wife had the new Avalon. I ended up buying the Bentley with the high rise when they first like bids came. Had just built these high rises and stuff right by the Denny's. I was one of the first ones actually in there. You know what I mean? And Pharrell at the time was had a studio because he had lived out there. And he had a studio, you know, he was going to the studio at the Marlin, I think it was. And but I'm like trying to find stuff to do with this paper.
Wow.
When I tell you I'm trying to find it, I'm trying to find stuff to do with this paper. That's when I bought the nightclub and you know what I'm saying? So like, because never mind you, I got the trucking companies and all that, right?
Right.
But I never mixed drugs with none of my businesses.
Right.
Never. I don't care if I was getting stuff off a truck, it wasn't gonna be my truck.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I just always wanted to keep that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And who's moving your material? That's all your family in Virginia, all your cousins.
Yeah.
You're just
All my family,
you're
my
just
cousins.
basically dumping it all on them and taking the ticket, taking the vig on top of it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
How fast did you move that first load?
Oh man, that stuff don't last. They're probably about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like,
And then Pipe, the Connect, he came and picked the money up, or you left it with a courier?
So how we ended up doing it, first we was actually running out of my garage. Right? And then he ended up he actually turned me on to, I mean, I knew before, but he who turned me on to like the stash box in the cars and stuff. But at this time, like I said, like I had the stash boxes back then, like with the Honda Accords and stuff when they was doing it in there. But at this time, they was doing it in Z's, in the small Z's. So he had put us up on game with that. So he got us the Z's with the stash boxes in it, and Yeah, he was going crazy.
And then you drive the car back to Phoenix?
So we had that. That was just the ride in town.
Oh, I see.
That was just the ride in town.
How'd you get the money back to him?
So we end up. So it's a couple of methods how I used to do it. Right. So sometimes it'll be by car, but a lot of times it'll be by plane. So back then it was a thing of you can take your money and you can take it in your jeans and just roll it up all in your jeans, still with your clothes. But this is the risk thing about it, because people wasn't stealing money out of the
Oh, right, the luggage.
Yeah, they weren't doing that. You know what I mean? But even if you put your lock on or this and that, that's not going through in the like they're not gonna. It just get past. No money never got knocked. We're doing it that way at all.
Because I mean that's a lot of money. How much would you send back to him on a load of 2,000 pounds of 50 keys?
It started to get to like my bill. Like my ticket was like 1.5, 2 million.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Something easy to just you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you're sending him back 2 million on a commercial plane.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. So if your bill is 2 million, what's your profit? What do you profit on top of that?
Man, do you know it's so crazy because, like I say, I always got it off fast. Like what they say, if you know how much money you got, you ain't got no money.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying. So,
but off a 2 million bill, you must have turned around a couple 100,000.
Oh yeah. No, most definitely. Yeah. That's what I do. But like even when it came to the weed, I'm gonna sell it for 500.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Doubling up.
Yeah. You know, with the coke, I'm gonna sell it for. I'm gonna make $1,500 at least, $1,000 on each key. You know what I mean? Like that was just my game to just make everybody happy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I still make me some money.
And at that ticket, the work goes so fast.
So fast.
Because then they can just charge a point to their people, and then the work just moves and moves. So then, what did the load start to look like as you grew this relationship?
So we ended up having to get a warehouse because it went from finding people places to break down stuff and all that. So we ended up getting a warehouse. And one day, you know, he calls me up. No, so I ended up getting back. He ended up sending me this load, right? It was probably about, I want to say about 5,000 pounds, right? And half of it was like brownish, but it smokes the same, smells the same, but it was just brown.
Yeah.
People still not buying it because it's brown.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I call him, I'm like, yo, listen, this smoke ain't right. So he like, no, man, you know, it's because of the sun, you know, in Phoenix. I'm like, yo, I can't do that. I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like trying to talk nobody about no work. You know what I mean? It's supposed to sell itself. So we ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? So he like, all right, man, just give me $150 per pound. I'm like, you still don't get it. Yeah. Because that's when people gonna come up with like excuses. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna make no money and then I'm gonna still owe you.
Yeah.
Right? He bring in the next load. And when he bring in the next load, we at the warehouse and he sees it's probably about 3,000 pounds, 2,000 pounds of
the bunk,
yeah,
the brown.
And when he see it, he's like going crazy, like, yo, what's that doing here? I'm like, what you mean? I can't move it. I thought I told you to price this. I'm saying, yeah, but I can't move it. Like nobody wants it. You know what I mean? Now he goes and he's trying to go talk all to my little cousins and all them to try to get some of them to sell it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go behind my back and do this. He ended up taking it himself, putting it in a white van and taking it to Richmond. Now, Richmond is like probably about an hour, 15, hour and a half from me, from Virginia Beach.
Yeah, it's ghetto.
Right?
I've been to Richmond.
And I know a lot of guys up there too that I used to hustle with. Just so happened, some of the same guys who he was going to see, I knew one of them. Right? Rest in peace, Baby Charles. So when he takes the work to them, he gets knocked off with the weed and the pistol. Right?
The pipe.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he's moving it himself. He's transporting it himself.
He took it out of the warehouse and put it in the van that time. Like first time I ever did this.
Yeah.
Drove it to Richmond to get rid of himself.
Yeah.
End up getting knocked off. How I know this because he's disappearing from it. Like I don't see him. I don't know where he is. Like, and I still owe some bread. I probably owe like, man, I probably owe him like 700,000, something like that. That I knew that he would come out for.
Yeah.
I don't hear from him. I got a nightclub. I had a nightclub at the time. And I'm in the back of the nightclub, and my cousin, she's a lawyer, Natalia Wilson. She's a divorce lawyer, though. She's my Uncle Renee's daughter. And so she ended up coming and bringing some paperwork because I told her to check on the guy.
Yeah.
She brings the paperwork, and the paperwork is saying, his statement is on saying that, telling on all the Richmond guys. All right, and it's saying went to Richmond, got caught, this and that. So I'm telling her, I'm like, then what is this? And she said, it's federal. I'm like, oh, wow. So you're in the feds? She's like, yeah. Up on top of on the paper, it had 7 sealed indictments. So I'm like, what is that? So she's like, it's sealed. We can't see it. Just so happened it was us, me and my family.
Wow. So he was telling on you.
Yep.
He just got caught with like what, a couple 100 pounds
Yep.
and a gun. And he turned around, and people don't realize this. You could snitch both ways. You can snitch higher or you can snitch lower on the guys that you're giving your work to.
Yeah.
Wow. How long after you had been working with him did this occur?
About 2 years, man.
Okay.
About 2 years.
Oh, so you guys made M's.
Yeah, we was like I said, I was trying to find stuff to do with the money. That's why I was getting the nightclubs. I mean, I was whatever business it was, or you had an idea and it sounded cool.
Wow,
I was down for it.
And during this time, you just completely blown up. Have you abandoned the Clipse and the music, or what is your relationship with them as you're just big timing?
They was working on the next album and stuff,
right?
And I ended up getting with another guy who went half. You know, I partnered up with management with. His name was Tony Draper from Suave House.
Okay.
I ended up giving him 10%, so he can get back. So when it was going through the little record beef with Pharrell and Barry Wise, Tony Draper had a good relationship with Barry Wise from Jive. And the reason why Jive didn't want to let us go because Jive had gave us some money already when Pharrell had left and when it started his label over at, I think it was like Sony or something like that. So Draper came in and mended that whole thing with the Jive, and they ended up giving us more money, and they started working on their next album.
Hell Hath No Fury. Okay.
I so much was definitely not thinking about the music, but right then, working on the album is when I ended up getting picked up.
Okay, so basically, Tony Draper had become their new manager.
Yeah.
Okay, and they kind of got them. I see. So it was just kind of a transition.
Yeah.
And did they know? They must the Clipse must have known you were back in the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're out. They've been out. Had nothing to do with it.
No.
How many keys did you think you moved with Pipe in these 2 years?
Oh, shoot, man. At least, I want to say 50, about 50 to 100 keys a month.
Yeah.
Something like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a ton, though.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So how long after he got picked up? God, it's always some stupid too, right? Some stupid. That's when you panic in the game, like he's panicking for no reason. Like what his ticket on those pounds must have been like $100 a ticket. Like who gives a shit, right? But it's that extra greed that always f***s you up.
But he was real greedy though, because he ended up taking the method of how they was getting it through the FedEx. 'Cause, you know, they was getting the boxes through the FedEx. It was FedEx boxes in the crate.
Oh, wow. So they're sending hundreds in FedEx boxes?
Yeah.
From Mexico?
I don't know what they'll do. Yeah, I mean, well, Phoenix right there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
sorry, so what was he doing?
So he ended up taking that method that Johnny had, and I didn't know. I ended up just dealing with him straight. He cut Johnny out.
Oh, wow.
Johnny ended up calling me one time, asking me about Pipe after Pipe had got locked up, and told me that was him in the whole. He could have been lying, you know what I mean? But he was like, yeah, man, when you first came, this and that, you know what I mean? Yeah. He probably was trying to take himself out of it, anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or probably knew, I don't know why he called me, you know what I mean? Like, we can put so many stories together right now on why he called me, you know what I mean? But basically to put himself away from it.
Huh. Yeah. Because he knew this guy was no good, and I mean, did that raise any alarm bells? Were you like, oh, this guy I'm dealing with is kind of shady? Like, did that speak to Pipe's character at all? Or were you just like, oh, that's kind of a weird phone call?
What Johnny called me?
Yeah. Because basically,
So I already figured, I mean, that it was on something kind of like, because of when he tried to go behind my back to deal with the family, to break the family up. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you already know, if you're a plug and you go into anybody and say, hey, we got this, they're going to jump on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, he was.
Okay. So how long after Pipe disappeared in Richmond did the feds raid?
I'm in Miami, and they ended up coming probably about a good year and a half. Yeah. But the thing was, I started to be people started to lie like on a throw a whole bunch of violence on me, like bodies and stuff like that, right? Which knowing that wasn't my character, you know, at all. And it was a thing, the feds had to come and get me faster. Because, you know, whenever bodies and stuff like is involved, they tend to move quick because they don't want you dead. They'd rather the case go on than you getting killed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they end up coming to get me faster. But they wanted to round up a whole bunch of different people around Virginia at the time who was just as, if not bigger, was still getting it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there's a lot of money makers in VA.
Yeah.
It's just the point of, like I told you, a lot of people not going to get it. You know what I mean? So you become, I don't care what you're going to get, but once you're known for going to get it, that puts you in a whole new category.
Yeah,
you know?
you get on their radar. So hold on, but between this time where Pipe disappears, gets arrested, and then you go down to Miami that year and a half, who did you start dealing with? Did you get a new plug?
No, man, that's what my money was just going.
You just said,
like,
okay, I'm done.
Because I was trying to figure out what was going on with him. You know what I mean? Even though that was that, but it was like, you know what I mean?
Stopped working. Okay, so then what evidence did they have on you besides his testimony? Is that enough? Just one guy saying you're the...
So they got Irvin, the Texas guy who was...
Right.
Remember I told you the paper, it came up in the paperwork with the money orders and stuff. So I was telling what he said. When I see that, I'm like, oh, that's dude. You know what I mean? So it goes back from that. And then you got the guy who's saying, I gave him all this work. So now I'm getting charged with all the work that he's bringing me. So that's why I'm saying $20 million, $10 million drug ring, because they adding up all the work that they actually gave me. So I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm like, ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. So, but that was enough. So
yes.
So their two testimonies were enough.
So him, and then it became a thing of I had, I think it was like 150. I got like 150. Then it was like 46 people ready to testify against me, and 20 of them was on the street. Yeah.
People think the streets have any code or honor. Yeah. They are dreaming. Yeah. Wow. So you had dudes that that knew from the Virginia Beach area that were getting work from the guys that you were giving work to, your family. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, how do you get arrested? You're in Miami at the time.
I get the call that that my sister baby daddy, he's getting picked up. My little cousins, they getting picked up. Wife, mother, everybody's getting scooped up. Yeah.
Oof. Okay, and you're in Miami at the time?
I'm in Miami at the time.
So did part of you think about?
Oh, I was gone. I was gone until they started talking about all the women and they all getting picked up and all that. So now I'm like, my God, I got to go back.
Where'd you run to?
You said, where would I?
Yeah, no, where'd you go when you left?
Man, I was in Miami. So I went on the script. I was on the script. I ended up leaving the high-rise and just getting a hotel room right on with Ocean.
Yeah.
And I stayed out there partying and stuff.
But you knew it was coming down, though.
Yeah, everybody was picked up.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
No, but I'm saying, did part of you think about like fleeing to Panama or something?
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. But before I can even make a plan or try to figure it out, they had my mom and everybody. And I'm like, oh, nah. I'm like, no, I can't. There's nothing to figure out. You know what I'm saying?
You got to take it. You got to take it. Did they end up letting all of them go, or did they still get charges?
No, they ended up letting the women go.
Wow. Okay. So it was just you, and who else was in the indictment?
So it was me and 7. So what it was I got charged with the CCE, right? And so that's six or more players. It's 6 or 7 more people to make it a CCE.
Right,
Like
right.
you got to have like 7.
Right.
So mine was exactly 7. But the 7th person was, remember I told you my childhood friend from science class, Josh?
Yeah.
He was the 7th person. He was already doing time. He was doing time in the federal system already, right? On a charge coming back with a couple of the keys from Mexico. And they put him in my case because my phone is hot. It's tapped, right? So I used to get him cards, prepaid cards for the phone when he was in the feds and button them.
Yeah.
So, but we're on my phone talking. So I'm telling him, I'm like, man, I'm glad you ain't tell on me. I mean, we talking real stuff.
Yeah.
So they end up putting him in it to make it the CCE. So they end up bringing him back and putting him in it.
Oh no! So he was
Because
already.
they said he didn't. He should have told on me when he had the opportunity. He wasn't doing that.
So he got recharged. He was doing a federal bid, and now he's recharged and facing more time. Dude.
No.
Okay, so then how did this all resolve? How much time did you get? So what about Josh?
So I end up getting Josh out of it. But you know how the feds work is, they're not letting nobody just walk. Right. So I end up working it out so he can his charges they gave him the same amount of time that he had left.
Right. They just rolled it into.
Yeah. So he had like two years left.
How much time did he do in total?
Oh man, he did a couple of bids our whole life, man. He been
Right.
bidding and stuff because he used to take a lot of stuff for the team, like, taking upon himself to bring stuff back. You know what I mean? But he did on that bid, he did 10 years on that bid that he did. And yeah.
What were they offering you at the beginning? What were you looking at? Life?
For me, yes, I was looking at
I mean, of course you were. The Kingpin charge, you're always looking at 20 to life.
I was looking at life because of the drug weight. Because I'd never been in trouble.
No.
Right? I'd never been in trouble. So that was my first time in jail and any of that. So the weight is what carried everything high as far as the guidelines. Now, the thing with Pike, so when I first get picked up and I'm in there, I'm like, they had to get me back all the way from Miami through Oklahoma and all this. First time locked up. I'm like, I'm traveling. You got federal people on a plane. I couldn't believe all this.
Yeah, you're on the Con Air.
So it's all like a dream to me. But I'm thinking I'm gonna get a bond. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a bond. Everything gonna go smooth. I've never been in trouble, this and that. I don't get no bond. So they had me in Miami for a minute before they got me back to Virginia.
Right.
And it's crazy because 50 Cent had just started to do, because Twitter was just getting big and stuff. And I remember me being in Miami and they was talking about it on the radio that the Clipse manager just got picked up and XYZ and all this. When I get to the pod, right, my roommate, one time right before I ready to go to the court, he started singing Grinding, right?
Yeah.
He was a Haitian guy, you know what I mean? And I'm getting cool with all them guys in there. They didn't know who I was and the whole nine. So they was trying to teach me the game in there, telling me, hey, this how the feds work, be quiet. People can just hop on your case. People can do this and, X, Y, Z. And, so they're trying to give me the game. And in how I grew up with the no telling clause. Like that's just how I grew up.
It's not even an option.
Yeah, it's like not even
Not even a thought.
Not even a thought. You know what I mean? Like I got cousins that I used to not talk to and all that stuff like that because, I heard that you probably didn't even snitch, but you was talking to him. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember when my lawyer came and saw me, he said, hey, I got a meeting set up with you. See, because what a lot of people don't understand when dealing with the feds is when the people come and try to, like doing your case and stuff, they come and try to pull you out, you have an option to say, no, I don't want to go talk to you.
Right. You don't even have to talk to him.
Yeah, you only got to talk to him.
I'm going to stay in my cell.
I'm going to stay in my cell.
Yeah.
Right? So, I was hearing people, saying, hey, man, make sure if you go to court, you're gonna lose, this and that. And it's a no-win case because you have the connect telling on you. Like, how did you think you're supposed to even beat that? So my lawyer was saying, we gonna chase the money on go and prove that I make enough money to do all the things that I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, try to discredit him and saying, where's the money that you saying that I'm making? By you giving me all this drugs and stuff, where's the money?
Right.
The money that I do got is accounted for with what I'm doing.
IRS statements.
Yeah.
Oh, you're paying tax on the legitimate business.
I got Burt Padell.
What?
I got Burt Padell, one of the best accountants in New York.
Right.
He dealing with Alicia Keys, everybody.
So you still have, even when you're Kingpin, and you still got the legitimate businesses paying taxes on it and all that.
I mean, we got the records that prove before I got locked up and all this. This is what we're going on everything what happened then.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna fight. And so it's like them visits as you coming in, it's like getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. Oh, well, you know that they're gonna charge you, the mother, your wife, your aunt.
You talking about these are other inmates telling you this?
My lawyer, as he's coming.
Oh, right. Yeah,
he's coming, it's like every meeting is getting worse and worse for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, like even with chasing, cause like they say, if they can prove in the conspiracy, if they can prove a little teeny bag of marijuana, I'm still getting conviction. I'm still getting convicted because I got it gonna make my good money dirty. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care if you got all this that's legit, but you got that little teeny bit of money that's dirty, all of it's dirty. So he came and he says, so listen, and you got 46 people ready to testify, ready to testify against you. So I'm actually, they don't show you all the names and stuff like that. But majority of the stuff that I did see, it was like people who wasn't even cool. I never dealt with. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
They were just dealers way low that your product made it down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were never giving them work.
Yeah, I wasn't giving them work. You know what I mean? So none of my friends or none of that told on me. Like, you know what I mean? It's all people who, and you probably got some people who I knew who was cool with that person. That right. Damn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they didn't really, but like I'm saying, with conspiracy, once it's like everybody see the dope on the table, but you. You understand what I'm saying? So I knew I was hit. So I'm like, so he like, well, they got to stick with the guidelines, this and that, but they want to try to give you life. Now, the thing is, what people don't understand, I don't know no kingpins, right? I don't know no kingpins that's out right now. Right? All the kingpins, the real kingpins who didn't tell are still locked up. Like if you out,
I don't even know if those exist. Like kingpins that didn't tell.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, so when they came to me and they said, they want to have a meeting. They want to have a meeting with you. So I said, what do they have a meeting about? You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you got all these people right here who's telling on me, right? The people who I'm cool with and who involved in the case, they all locked up. Like, what they want from me? It got to be something that you want from me. Like, so he was like, well, that's the thing, but you have to understand, like, they gonna, your mom and them gonna have to walk too, this and that. So I said, well, I'm gonna tell you now, because what people gotta understand, you can't tell on somebody who already told on you. You understand what I'm saying? That's
not enough.
You know what I mean? So when they came and they said, so listen, they want to know, because I made sure, like, before I went, because I wasn't just gonna sit down and them go ahead and show me pictures of my friends or something, this and that, this, not, you know what I mean? And so he said, nah, they want to talk to you about Johnny. So I'm like, So I'm like, well, I never dealt with them, right? You know what I mean? I dealt with them, but I dealt with them indirectly. You know what I mean? From the snitch, from the guy who
through Pipe,
who told on me. So he said, well, Pipe didn't want to tell on Johnny, but they know about the initial
Meeting.
meeting. But even if he did tell on Johnny in a conspiracy, you need 2 people. So they couldn't mess with him even if he did, right? So they said they want to meet. So they want to meet with you to just tell how the meeting with Johnny. The same thing that I just discussed with you. So I said, all right, but what do I get for that? You know what I mean? So he like, you know, I'm gonna try to work it that they don't charge your peoples. To me, that's a good deal. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, you gonna get the life off the table? And he said, well, we don't know that, but based off your record, and we gonna get the guys and everybody to say
There's no violence.
ain't no violence and whatever. Because even though the lies about the bodies and all that stuff, just so happened when my phone was tapped, when them bodies and stuff occurred, my phone was tapped. So that what saved me, because a lot of stuff is going on over the phone, and they knew I didn't have nothing to do with these bodies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And your lawyer can see that in the records of the wiretaps. You have nothing to do with it.
And the guy who's the head man on the case, who's a DA agent, he was a police officer out my neighborhood.
No way.
Yeah, he's a patrol.
Wow.
Yeah, he was patrol. He ended up becoming a DA agent,
Right.
and is the head dude on my case.
Wow.
So
Okay, so you just got to tell him about the meeting with Johnny.
that's all that's supposed to be, right? So I goes and I basically tell them about the meeting. You know, the same thing I told her. Yeah, he said, you know, this and that. So they're like, all right, cool. Boom. They bring out pictures though, which I know, because it's the thing, you can't pick and choose. It came in when, you know, like, you think you can pick and choose what you tell on and stuff like that, or you know what I'm saying, or what you think that they're not going to ask you this because you don't want them to ask you that. If they got you down there, they got you down there. So they start bringing out pictures of everybody, from the Clipse to my childhood friends, everybody. Nah, I couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because the cop, the DA agent, he is the one who actually picked me up from the facility and drove me. Wow. Right? Because he was cool with like my family. Like he know everybody in the community.
It's crazy.
Right? And as we driving back, he actually says to me, oh, you know he was lying, right? When it came to my friends and all them, because he knows the guys and all them out the neighborhood. But he let me live with that. You know what I mean? Because he knew it would have messed it up for my mom, my family, for everybody. So he actually let me live for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
And we actually so what they said was, all right, cool. So I ended up getting the 32 years. I ended up getting 32 years.
So you said you didn't get any kind of deal for at least telling them about the meeting with Johnny?
My family got let go.
Okay.
My family got let go. They got immunity. They got immunity.
Yeah.
As long as they ain't did nothing soon. And I got the low end of my guidelines, which was the 32 years.
That was the low?
Yep.
God.
Because all the weight.
Yeah, because the weight, right.
Yep.
Wow.
So now I'm like ready to start this 32-year sentence.
Yeah.
Never been locked up.
How old were you?
Stressed out.
How old are you now?
33.
When you got the bid? Okay.
Yeah, 33. And
so you would have done off at 32, you would have done with good time like
26.
26.
Yeah, I had it to a T at one point in time. I could tell you the day when I was, everything. But I'm riding this bid like, shoot, man, my wife, my mom, like everybody's good. You know what I mean? I'm doing this bid.
Right.
You know, it's cool. I'm watching the TV, the guys blowing up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still like, so I'm rocking and rolling.
I remember reading about that in the source when I was locked up. And I was like, the Clipse manager got 30 years. This guy, Tony, got 30 years. I was just like, I felt sick.
But this is the kicker. So going through my bid, I'm going from my first compound that I hit was FCI Gilmer. It's a medium high. I'm talking about, it's a dropout, what it called, from guys from the pen.
Going from the USPs.
Yeah.
The hard
so
places.
guys in here with life and the whole nine.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to the pen. I was actually supposed to go to West Virginia Hazleton to the USP.
Oh, that's a tough one.
But somehow, my luck, like, I don't know what it was, right? It sent me to Gilmer, but was still rough. You know what I mean? They ran it like how it was. First day on the compound, we get locked down. Serenos is fighting the Pisces. A big, I'm talking about, they pulling up knives from the dirt, everything. And I'm like, oh my God, what I get myself into? You know what I mean? So I'm going through this transition of seeing all this and the whole 9 years. And, you know, but the thing was, my paperwork is good because I'm getting sentenced. I got sentenced, right? It doesn't say anything about
you talking about Johnny.
Me talking about Johnny, right. And you know, but the newspaper and all that saying, yo, he made an unusual deal to free his family members. Like say my wife and sister.
Right.
So it's saying all this. Don't nobody know what that deal is. People are like, oh, deal, they think deal, this and that. And they know I got the 32. So as I'm going into the system, you know, the real people know, oh, Kingpin, 32 years, they don't care what. They automatically, oh, you told. You hot. You know what I'm saying? That's what the mind frame.
Right.
But the paperwork don't say it.
Right. So were you prepared knowing, like, when you go to a pretty high security federal prison, like, did you realize that people immediately were going to be like, paperwork check, or else you're getting a knife in you?
Because I was getting schooled before I even get there, and I heard little stories in the whole 9. But like they say, my paperwork is right. But the thing is, when you get in there, now you got cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm Puerto Rican. I had Puerto Rican. So now I got the Spanish guys, you know, who drive rock with me. But now I'm from Virginia. So I'm in a Virginia car. Virginia is broken up in the system of Richmond and the 757. That's just how it always be. It started through the state. For some reason, they brought it to the Fed. You know, with all the other states, everybody stick together, but for some reason, it's split up. So at the 757, everybody knows my case, knows me. Guys who I don't even know. When I got to penitentiary, first thing they told me is, yo, man, we ate a lot off your plate, man. If you need anything, X, Y, Z. So I was always protected in every federal prison I went to.
Wow.
Regardless if my paperwork didn't say anything or not.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because you were known as the boss, the guy.
I was known for taking care of everybody, playing fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Playing the game fair. Like, I had people beat me probably for 2-3 keys. And I'm just like, man, I just ain't dealing with them no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? With guys, I'm like, man, no, we should have killed them. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was good in all the penitentiaries because my paperwork was right. Right?
Yeah.
But it's still the unknown of, dang, like, so now, you know, if you leave the compound, that's when people want to know, oh, what you leaving the compound for? You know what I mean? You got to come back with work X, Y, Z. I remember when I got to Fort Dix, and they was on paperwork hard, and it's a low, but they got a whole bunch of New York guys there. They run it. They think they had a USP, knives, cell phone. They're serious. Man, it's serious. The east side of Fort Dix is serious. They end up, they had a shot caller there by the name of King. He was from Portsmouth. He had life. And I remember as soon as I got there, I had to go see him. He already knew my story, though. You know what I mean? Because, you know, even though he's been there for life. So I go to him. I sat down, show him the work. And because it was rumors already, because, you know, people know once your name go in the laundry, people know you coming and this and that. Oh, yeah, such coming this compound, this and that. So now as we sitting down, he tell me, yeah, I know your story, you know what I'm saying, this and that, but I'm showing him the work. He looked through it and he like, yeah, but this don't tell me nothing because I never left, you know what I mean? And we don't got the whole pacer thing and all that to find, like all that stuff you can't, you know what I mean? Like, so he was like, man, as far as that, you good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't tripping, you good out here, you know, the whole 9. So I got to walk the yard, you know what I mean?
Did you have to explain it to the people, even though it didn't say it in your paperwork? Did you have to tell them?
No, it came with a story. Yeah, it came with a story.
What did you tell them?
With me actually telling King, I was like, yo, bro, like, you know.
You just copped to it all.
Yeah, I bet the cops to it all, but then I had my mom, and because they, remember the newspaper came out where I struck an unusual deal. So that's the first they want to know.
Right.
What is this unusual deal? You know what I mean? So I got to break all that down. Everything had to be answered for. So I told them exactly what I told you. I told them every single thing. And the first thing of everybody who I told, what they tell me is, man, shoot, I would have did the same thing. But I'm not gonna go out there and tell nobody out there. You better not go mention that to here.
Right.
Cause you best believe everybody almost in there with life and all that, they want to be on the outside.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But he got to live in there. He's not going nowhere.
Right.
So he got to stand on what he stand on. You know what I'm saying? But so when I end up getting upstate, I end up opening up a compound, Berlin, New Hampshire. I end up going to open up that compound.
What does that mean, open up a compound?
When the prison is just built.
Oh, I see.
So I went to go try to make the most money and this and that, because all the places I was going, you know, with me being in Gilmer, I wanted to break my bid up too.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm green. Like, I don't know how to bid, like, but it was a guy from my area named Danny, named Lil Danny, and he was locked up before me. You know, he was, you know, heavy in the street too. And he basically showed me how to bid. You know what I mean? Like, he used to call me green. Because I used to get with people and start talking, and people want to know, oh man, how the music, how the cook, they want to rap for me all night.
Right.
So he used to be like, yo, you befriending a lot of people. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm getting to Berlin, and as we're in Berlin, I get called back to court. I wanted to.
You must have been sick.
Man, I was so sick. I don't even know what I'm getting called back for.
Right.
I ain't did nothing.
Right.
Ain't telling nobody. And I don't, you know what I mean? As far as I'm like, you know, end up packing up, going on the plane, get to Oklahoma, stay in Oklahoma for like 4 or 5 weeks, going back to the plane, coming back on the compound.
Back to New Hampshire?
Back to New Hampshire.
You didn't know what you had just done it for? Nobody told you anything?
Nobody told me nothing. Now I'm like, I'm scared. Cause I'm like, what the? Cause I got to prove something to these guys out here on this what's called to say, hey, this is what I went back for.
Yeah. Like, I swear to God. Check the cameras.
I don't got nothing to come and tell them.
Right.
I don't have nothing to say I went back for, cause I don't even know. Right. So one thing I did was I checked in, which checking in is what they call it, is a bitch move.
Oh, so you went to PC?
I went to PC.
Yeah.
But the reason I went to PC is because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go out there and say, hey man, I went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Came back.
Yeah.
I don't know what I went for. Anybody buying that?
No.
Nobody's buying that. And one thing about it, you can't beat everybody in prison. So people say, oh man, PC, huh? like what you gonna do? So I wanted to find out first.
Right.
So that would make me call my you know, the counselor, like, yo, I need to talk to my lawyers, XYZ.
Right.
Boom. Come to find out, Johnny was going to court. He was going to trial.
Right.
Right? So with him going to trial, they was bringing me to trial. Johnny tapped out, turned informant before I even got there, so they turned me back around.
Wow. Holy.
Turned me back around. I dropped, I stayed, because now once I found that, I'm like, oh yeah, this and that. I'm like, oh, cool. Now I'm trying to go back. I want to go back on the compound. So they tell me, no, my points just dropped. Now I'm a risk because my points dropped. If you got, like in the federal system, it all go by points. Like you can't get to a low unless, you know, say if you got an open case, you ain't going to a low. If you got, I can't remember that, but it's like 10 points or low or whatever, then you can go to a camp. Like it's all ran by the point system.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go out there because now I'm classified.
Now you're low security.
I'm low security.
Yes, you can't be around those animals.
Exactly, because this was the thing. Peep this. So they come and my lawyer say, and they cut your time. As I'm back there in the hole, I'm finding out all this. He said, and they cut your time. I said, cut my time? I said, yeah. I'm like, how much? He said, 16 years. Wow. He cut it in half. I said, 16 years? I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not even expecting this. But he said, but I'm going to shoot it back. I said, what you mean you're going to shoot it back? And he said, because they giving you that because you didn't go testify. Because I never took no stand. I never been on a stand, pointing at nobody and do that. That's what they give you that's what they give you cuts for.
Yeah.
Because you're risking your life.
Right.
My lawyer was so vicious. Like, I had one of the best lawyers in the world. Yeah. Woody Woodward. He represent Michael Vick, D'Angelo Hall, all them guys. And was like, he amazing. He came in, he said, no. He said, I'm going to shoot it up. I forgot what the motion is called. He said, because they exposed your name to Johnny. So if he would, so just because he turned informant and he's not gonna worry about you, your name was still mentioned. So say, what if he, say if he would have went to trial? So you gamble with my name.
Right. So regardless, that should count as you testifying.
As getting more. So they came back and gave me 75% and it took me to 10 years.
Holy. How long did it take him to get back with the
3 months, and then I had to stay back in the hole for 3 months.
Right.
And I got sent to Fort Dix. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. When I get to Fort Dix, my paperwork don't say nothing, but now my time changed. So now guys, them like, yo, so this when I go see King and all that, and I explain what happened to King and all that. So now it's like a thing of people really like, man, damn, like, because the whole thing is what people like, you know, how people pick and choose, right? Mm-hmm. But like you got people that are actually stand on like, man, like I never told on nobody. I mean, with Johnny, but I didn't get a chance to tell on him. I mean, I did right there, but I never got on those stand and really like told on no guys and got nobody locked up and all that. You know what I mean? So
you copped to it. You were like, I did have a meeting, and I told the feds about the meeting with Johnny. You just told them the truth. You told King everything.
Yeah.
How much time when you got that huge time cut? How long had you been in?
5 years.
So that basically wipes it out. You got 2 years left or something?
3.5 more, 3 and some change more.
Where?
I did a little over. I'm almost did 9 years.
Okay. So after Fort Dix, you got that big time cut. Where did you go? You just went to Lowe's?
Lowe's? Lowe's what?
Yeah, you went to the camps.
Oh, yes. So I went to Fort Dix, and then I stayed in Fort Dix.
Fort Dix is a low.
Yeah, I stayed in Fort Dix for probably about a year and a half or so, and then I got dropped to Hazleton Camp.
Okay.
And I started going crazy.
Yeah.
I started going crazy.
What does that mean?
Like I started like cell phones, Facebook, all that. Remember, I left with Twitter.
Yeah, right,
so now it's like Facebook and Instagram and stuff. I'm like, this is a whole new thing. And now my mind is still on business, but I'm also like still had that mind frame of hustling because I always had the biggest stores. And now at this time I'm getting to the camp, when guys then was going out and hitting hotels and having sex, I was like, no, I'm bringing in the liquor, the tobacco, ain't mess with drugs, but it was like, you know, liquor, tobacco, cell phone, so I'm selling that, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, back in the, you know, I feel like I'm back in the world again, you know, taking pictures on Instagram, like I was doing all that.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't right? But I ended up meeting this white guy. And he was from Virginia, you know, and we got cool. And he started telling me about the trucking gang. This what he kept telling me, hey man, y'all out here, you know, doing this and that. He was like, man, if you want to invest, you need to invest in the trucking game. But he said, I'm telling you, you need to start your own business. I said, well, I had the trucks and stuff. And he told me, he said, nah, not with the 18-wheelers. He said, you got to transport these vehicles. That's where the real money is. Right. So I'm like, yeah. So he like, yeah. I said, man, I don't got no CDLs. I don't want to drive no big trucks. He says, you can do it with the dually and with the 3-car haulers, you know, and all that, and you don't need no CDLs. I said, I don't need no CDLs. He said, nah. And he gave me the game.
Wow.
He gave me the game of not needing the CDLs in the trucking game.
Right.
Right?
How did that, by the way?
I came home off 3 trucks. I started with 1 truck and went to 3 trucks. Off 3 trucks, I made $350,000 in a year off the trucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your first year home?
My second year home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you blown away? Were you like, holy, I made more in a year in a legitimate business than most drug dealers will ever touch selling drugs? Like, did you, it's so crazy when you have time to really think, you're like, man, I didn't really need the drugs.
I would have never sold it.
Do
you know,
exactly.
I'm telling you now, and I said this before, people are like, yo, do you regret it and all this and all this? And I used to be like, oh man, yeah, because it made me to the man, I regret that. I regret it. I regret, like, because there's so much ways to but I always had it from getting to different businesses and stuff. I just wasn't, you know, I just had the drugs and stuff, you know, involved.
God saved you.
Yeah.
He saved you from a 30-year bid.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have made you a religious man.
But my other childhood friend, he's a pastor, right? Like, since the 5th grade, he's a pastor, got his own church out there. He's like my best friend right now. Like, he's actually he's in the middle of partnering up with getting some trucks in my business, because he's seen the growth in the whole nine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's even for what I'm doing now. So I got this thing now that I got is I'm giving the game away for free because I taught so many people the game who got their trucking company now and stuff, and I showed them the difference in between freight and vehicles, which is like no comparisons. That I started this thing like no CDL trucking. And I let you, and what I do is I set your whole, like if you go through it, you can set your whole business up by pressing on it, your DOT number, everything in the whole nine. But then if you want, you got to pay for me giving you the game of explaining to you of how much,
so you got a business school.
The whole nine.
You got a business school, dog.
Yeah. So it's online. NoCDLtrucking.com is my website.
Oh my God. I didn't even know this, bro. Can I sign up?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of the podcast game. I'm trying to get into the CDL trucking game.
But that's what I said, what I need. This is like my niche of what I need to do now, because like now how I do it, instead of having me driving my own truck that I did for like years and stuff, now I don't do that because I had, I started hiring people who came off from prison.
Yeah.
So I'm hiring these guys, putting them in the trucks and stuff. They're messing the trucks up, and I mean, it's crazy. So I had the first business in my wife's name because I was in the halfway house. It was DNA hauling. Once I got off papers, I ended up getting her name and started No Days Off Transport, LLC. Wow. And now what I do is, instead of me being liable for their trucks and the whole nine and have my insurance sky high and messing it up, I charge them to drive under my authority. So I charge them $1,500 a month. Right. So I charge them $1,500 a month. Now, you're under my authority, and I book you the loads too for 10-15% of the load. Wow. So each load, I'm getting that, and then I'm getting $1,500 a month per company. So now all I do is sit back and I just get me one car. I got a one-car hauler, right? And I got clientele businesses that different dealerships just want me to move. So I'll probably just do something simple without all that money over there, just for my like little recreational money. Yeah, I go 3 hours up for say $250, and 3 hours back for $250. Spend $100 in gas. I make $400 in a day.
Anthony Gonzalez, a born entrepreneur, man. What a journey, what an odyssey. We're going to switch over to the Patreon. We're going to do a quick little bonus episode just because we're almost at 3 hours. And this is where I want to talk in depth about that, about the truck hauling business and about,
and then I also want to talk to you about the movies because, we also got a production company.
Sure.
Film.
I love it. I love it. Stick with the trucking, though. The movie business sucks. But that's why do you think I'm podcasting? Because the movie business is like trying to sell. You know what I'd say the movie business is right now? It's like trying to sell Mexican dirtweed in California. Yeah. Imagine trying to push brickweed in California right now. Not a very good market.
So if you think that we got like 5 to 10 good quality movies that we can't like get a production deal from like a Cat Williams or something like that. These people starting these
possibly,
studios and stuff.
But that's we're gonna switch it over on the Patreon. But that is a good point. There could always be a revolution. It could always come back. This was it was an honor and privilege. Plug your trucking your trucking business school. Yeah, plug it.
So is NoCDLtrucking.com is the website. And it sets up your whole business for you and everything. Yeah. But if you want to get the free game, then you gotta pay for the knowledge of really making that money. I'm talking about $10,000 a truck. Yeah. For one truck a month.
Killer. Dude, I'm telling you guys, this is the most useful podcast we've ever done. Everybody is trying to plug their book. Everybody comes on here is trying to plug whatever. Their supplement business. This is a way for you or your loved ones that have criminal records, have no education. This is an amazing way to make money and have your own business and autonomy.
I do have the book. Oh
yes, you have a book too, of course.
Older,
but
and
man, this is a useful business, bro.
Yeah.
This is killer. Man, you killed it, bro. All right, we're gonna switch over to the Patreon. One for the history books. I want to have Pusha T on the show. I'd like you to put in a word for me, but this was a great episode. Thank you for coming out here to Austin.
I'm very proud to know you, and I hope we can make more content. Maybe we'll go down to Panama or something.
Yeah, man, you
know?
should, man. So you can really see it first.
I want to meet Uncle
Panama Renee, baby.
Yeah,
Uncle Renee.
exactly. Uncle Renee, dude. Patreon.com/The Connect Show. You've been watching The Connect. My guest is Anthony Gonzalez, and the link to that, his website will be in the description. Check him out. Turn your life around. And thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Yes.